A new Toyota with 0 down and 0% APR financing. Or buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
Alrighty.
19 Camry LE, not 26,000, 18,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not 22,000, 13,775. Over 1,500 Toyotas indoors and on sale during our showroom showdown.
Hey, Ohio. Yeah, my mom just came back from Ohio the other day.
Based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 for SET on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Attention all Barry's Vitamins customers. All the vitamins and supplements you know and
I just
love
cannot
are
get used to this new
available
desktop
in
version of
nutrition
Twitter.
centers, and
I want the
prices
old
are
version. Is there a way to, does anybody know, is there a way to revert back to the old view? This one is just awful for me.
Located a half mile south of Sample Road on the west side of State Road 7 in the Penn Dutch Plaza. Speak with Al. He's the owner. Tell him what supplements you were looking for, and he will be more than happy to get you the supplements you need.
Hey, Neil.
Save a Lot Nutrition Centers, 754-307-1655. 754-307-1655.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you to call Debbie at I Will Advisors and have her review your homeowner's insurance policy and save you money on your insurance premium. I'm in studio today with a Steve Kane listener, Don. Don did just that.
I called Debbie. She looked over my homeowner's insurance policy and told me I was paying way too much. She updated my policy. It didn't cost me a dime. And now my mortgage payment has been lowered because my insurance premium is part of my monthly mortgage payment.
Thanks, Don, and I'm glad Debbie could save you all that money.
All right, guys, here we are.
Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. Have her review your policy and lower your homeowner's insurance premium. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you
All right, here we go.
at the Siegel Laundry. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with 9 offices in South Florida, including Boca Raton, Plantation, and Coral Springs. Call 1-855-FLA-3782.
Yeah.
For the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers.
When has, well, I'll do this on the air.
Staff, management, or sponsors.
The Steve Kane Show is live in Morning Drive, 6 till 9 a.m. weekdays.
I will do it on the air.
Nights, midnight to 6 a.m. 7 nights a week. To call the show toll free, 1 trip.
All right. Oh, well, yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. Got to turn the microphones on before you use them. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the air since 1977. That's right. And, of course, this is the most important Steve Kane show of the week, because this is not just our Friday morning drive edition. We're on the air in morning drive, weekday mornings from 6 until 9 a.m. But we have an overnight rebroadcast 7 nights a week. Even though I held up, if you're watching in the streams, 5 fingers. I got 2 down here. Oh, man. And that's right. So this show airs all weekend long. Just on our 5 Florida radio stations. We are on 2 a.m. and 3 FM stations. Just on our 5 Florida radio stations. I'm not including iHeartRadio, TuneIn, SteveKaneShow.com, our radio station app, Brian Craig at YouTube Live, Periscope, Liberty Eagle Facebook. I'm not including anything other than our 5 Florida radio stations. The Friday show will air a total of 33 times before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure the Friday show is the best, but they're all great. Welcome, one and all. You know, people were just asking me about Omar. And, you know, if you notice, I didn't play the clip of Omar. I've got it in my computer. I didn't even transfer it over to, you know, the Be Afraid of White Men and all this stuff. Someone's talking, gonna testify. This is why I really haven't gotten involved in Omar or even the squad. You know, and everyone's talking about Omar with this issue, that issue, the brother, her last name, this white men comment. And I guess the reason I've not been talking about it is because I'm jaded. When has a Democrat been held accountable for anything they've said or done? Really? You know, if you could tell me when has a Democrat been held accountable? In particular, let's be a little more specific. When has a Democrat who's a multiple minority been held accountable in government? Never. Never. And all this talk about Omar, nothing. I'm going to tell you right now. I know a lot of conservative hosts, they're like, oh, we got to do... Nothing is going to happen to her. She's going to get reelected. Nothing's going to happen. She's a Democrat, which gives you... When you're a Democrat, you can do almost anything. When you're a Democrat who is a woman, a black woman, and an immigrant, and because of her religion is another minority status, right? So let me get through this. Wait. Democrat, female, black, immigrant, and a minority religious group in this country, Muslim, 5. So you've got someone that she has 5 things that keep her completely immunized from anything happening, on top of the fact that she's in the safest district in the world that you could possibly be in, right? So, you know, nothing will become of it. For many, many years on the Steve Kane Show, we got a lot of heat from the audience because we didn't talk about the border issue. Didn't talk about it at all. Al Franken is an exception to the rule. He's a white man, and the Me Too movement was, was a fluke. And they didn't get rid of him. He panicked because his wife was all up at his grill about it. Al Franken, and they're bringing him back this week, if you haven't noticed. So that does not count. You know. Please. When you look at certain issues, there's reasons we don't talk about them. We got a lot of grief for many years on the Steve Kane Show for not talking about the border issue. Back in the days when Bill O'Reilly was doing a radio show. Okay? And well, why don't you do it? Everybody else is doing it. And we talked about this at the time because it was not going to be resolved. Even the Republicans weren't going to do anything about it. The American people weren't in the mindset to pressure the government to do anything about the southern border issue. And it was an issue we didn't talk about because it was an issue that was not going to be resolved. And then Donald Trump came down the escalator and boom, everything changed. We had a politician who would do something about it, was talking about it constantly, and the American people found someone to rally behind for that cause. Different situation. But we didn't talk about it for years. And quite frankly, I think a lot of radio talk show hosts talked about the border issue as a crutch to get through a show on a slow news day. Because in the days before Donald Trump was running for office, there'd be slow news days in talk radio, and that's a struggle, even on a national show. And a lot of people would talk about that issue so they could light up the phones with people on it and get through a show on a slow news day. I'm not kidding. I used to hear that all the time, and we didn't talk about it. And when people would confront us, why are you talking about it? We would tell them what I just told you now. It's a problem, big problem, no solution, no one's going to do anything about it. One day, someone may, and then we'll talk about it. And boom, Trump came down the escalator. These things with Omar right now are just like that, okay? This thing with Omar, these different things about Omar, no one is going to do a damn thing about it right now. Here you got these 2 resolutions, you got these 2 members of Congress that are comparing the Jewish state, founded because of the Holocaust of the Jewish people committed by the Nazis. Israel was formed in 1948. And we got 2 members of the squad comparing Israel to the country that was trying to exterminate all of the Jews. I mean, it's just, but nothing is going to be done about it, not now. At some point, maybe. Maybe, and when we get to that point, we'll start talking about it. Otherwise, it's wasted breath. Now, the comment that she made about being more afraid of white men, you know, I don't buy the story that it's out of context. Oh, it was a line edited out. I've seen it. I've read the line. It doesn't change the context. I believe that most black people, certainly the ones that are politically active, hate white people. Now, I don't know. Is it hatred or fear? I know we got black people in the audience. Our listeners of color, African Americans in the listening audience, are you fearful of white people? Do you hate white people? Which is it? Or is it both? I don't know. I think most minorities really don't care for white folk all that much. Look at what you see with these Democrats in Congress. Look at what you see with the squad. They don't care for white people. They blame white people for all the problems of the world. Of course, all the civil rights was achieved because of white people, because white people, in particular white men, the civil rights of every group in this country that were fought for and achieved were achieved because white men did it. White men gave women the vote. White men ended segregation. White men ended slavery. Now, I know that I'm not saying that Martin Luther King didn't play a role in it, but he and blacks were not in power in the government to pass that kind of legislation. Now, my most important question of the day is this. Twitter recently updated their desktop version about a week ago. I hate it like the plague. I can hardly use Twitter. I use Twitter on the desktop version when I'm on the radio because I tweet all my show prep. Does anyone out there know how I can easily switch back to the previous desktop version of Twitter? Because Twitter is becoming almost unusable to me in the desktop version. If you know how to do it, can you DM me on Twitter and tell me? I'm going nuts over here. It's driving me nuts. But, you know, what we've seen, you know, with this thing with Omar, I just, I don't see it going anywhere right now. Because liberals, Democrats, minorities, victim groups, the classified victim groups, they can do whatever the hell they want. They can say what they want, with very rare exceptions, and have no accountability. The only Democrats that ever get jammed up are white guys like Gary Condit, Al Franken. Remember Gary Condit? Gary Condit had a mistress that turned up dead. He had a mistress that turned up dead in a park, and he was still in Congress. Democrats got another guy in the Senate who was up on charges of bribery. He's still in the Senate. Right? Alcee Hastings, black congressman here from South Florida, been in Congress a long time. He used to fill in for Steve Kaine for a while between jobs. He was between jobs because he was an impeached federal judge. The Congress impeached him for suspicion of taking bribes. He was taken off the bench. He was a federal judge. I think he was appointed by President Carter. And he's been elected to Congress since, what, 92-ish or 4-ish? You know, Democrats can do whatever the hell they want. And boom, there they are, elected, re-elected. They had a Democrat in the Klan. They had one Democrat who killed a girl, Ted Kennedy. They were running him for president. Here you got Elizabeth Warren, who's pretending to have been a member of a minority group her entire life. She got outed. And boom, she's running for president. And she'll be reelected to the Senate for as long as she wants to be there. So, you know, I can't, with this thing with Omar, right now, nothing is going to become of it. And by the way, Congress, who make all the laws and rules to benefit themselves, do you know that you cannot discipline a congressman for crimes they committed prior to being in the Congress? Yeah. If you had a member of Congress who was Serial killer. You can't censure them in the Congress for it, if they did it before they were in Congress. I know. So nothing's going to become of it. Not now. So I'm just not into trolling and playing that clip and then and just trolling it for 3 hours. Because it's going nowhere. Man, I've seen this happen so many times. Freaking Al Franken's likely to be the governor of Minnesota. They're pushing him right now. What's going on with Al Franken is a move. I mean, and Al Franken, it's not just a thing with the lady. Remember, he was back in the Saturday Night Live writers' room in the 70s when it was they had two things in the writers' room in Saturday Night Live. They had typewriters and piles of cocaine and all these other things. And they're going to run him for something. It might be maybe a House seat. Be a step down, but maybe, or the governor, I don't know. But they are definitely planning on running Al Sharpton. They'd run him too, Al Sharpton. Look at Al Sharpton. Speaking of Al's, look at the things that Al Sharpton did back in the day. And look at him now. So now I just, I'm sorry. I can't, when we get to a point where something may come of it, I'll talk about it. All right. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Hey, everyone, make sure to subscribe to my podcast, a show I do separate and apart from this show with my wife from my studio at home, The Brian Craig Show on Apple Podcast. Subscribe. Over 800 podcast episodes. Just uploaded a new one last night. And the episode before that, 2 episodes ago, my wife was in the hospital, as I was talking about earlier. We actually did a podcast while my wife was in her hospital bed in the hospital. You can listen to that one. It's Podcasting from a Hospital Bed is the title of that podcast 2 episodes ago. The Brian Craig Show on Apple Podcast. Subscribe, all right? And listen. Okay, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Seniors, do you have a Medicare supplement policy? If you are currently paying $200, $250, or even $300 a month, do you realize that you could save 50 to 75% on your premiums? Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080. And Debbie and her team will share with you how you can save 50 to 75% on your premiums for your Medicare supplement policy. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot
Going to
care
iHeart? All right.
and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients.
Oh,
I'm
you
introducing
sent me a
my good
DM on
friends at
Twitter?
the
Let me
Soul
check.
Authority, at the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can
Oh, is this
receive
how-
your very own pair of therapeutic shoes
Oh.
made specially
So a lot
for
of people hate the
diabetics.
redesign.
You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient,
Probably,
you are
MJ, I wouldn't be
entitled to
surprised,
one
but no,
pair
you know.
of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper
This looks
shoes.
very complicated
Call
for
the
me to do on the
Soul
air.
Authority
Yeah.
at 954-597-7060
More.
or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Do you have gaps between your teeth? Are your teeth stained, crooked, cracked, or poorly shaped? You can have the smile you have always dreamed of with veneers. Brighton Dental Care has an incredible offer exclusively for Steve Kane Show listeners. The same veneers that the dentist in Boca and Aventura charge $10,000 to $12,000 for Steve Kane listeners at Brighton Dental. A set of 8 veneers, just $47.50. These are the exact same veneers those other dentists charge $10,000 to $12,000 for. Don't be embarrassed by your broken, crooked, or missing teeth anymore. Call Brighton Dental Care right now at 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Brighton Dental Care have great discounts for veterans too. 954-922-4633. Online, BrightonDentalCare.com.
Attention all Barry's Vitamins customers. All the vitamins and supplements you know and love are available at Save-A-Lot Nutrition Centers, and the prices are a fraction of what you were paying before. Stop in or call Save-A-Lot. Save-A-Lot Nutrition Centers is located a half-mile south of Sample Road.
I got it all
on
until the
East
last
Road 7 in the Penn Dutch Plaza. Speak
thing
with
he
Al.
did.
He's the owner. Tell him what supplements you were looking for, and he will be more than happy to get you the supplements you need. Save-A-Lot Nutrition Centers, 754-307-1655.
I gotta do it later. I can't do the redesign.
307-1655.
Not during the break.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
Alrighty, someone sent me a hack on how to get. Yes, I'm broadcasting from my basement. Someone said in the chat. I am in South Florida. If I were to dig down about 6 inches, I would be in the water. We are at sea level. There are no basements in South Florida. Okay? I love it. That must be a big thing up north. Broadcasting from the basement. You're in your basement. We don't have basements here, man. Oh, man. I know, it's tough. You ever dig a hole here in South Florida? You hit water and coral. That's right. That's right. All right, welcome back. You know, I heard this story today on the way in. I know, these liberals are so stupid. You know, Russia targeted voting systems in all 50 states during the 2016 election. Okay, I got a hack on the Twitter redesign, by the way. I tried to do it during the break, but I couldn't do it while I'm running the commercial, so I'll figure it out later today. Let's see here. What are they saying here? A bipartisan Senate report confirmed on Thursday that Russia coordinated targeted attacks on election systems in all 50 states during the 2016 elections. Now, there's something missing from this story, at least so far, that I have not heard. So let's get into this, because I want to find out what they're talking about here. The report comes after Robert Mueller's testimony to Congress on Wednesday that the Russian government is working towards striking again in election interference as we sit here. The Department of Homeland Security reported hacks on the election system in 21 states, meaning American intelligence agencies did not initially detect all Russian hacks. The original report noted findings of Russia's attempts to hack elections. However, the Senate Intelligence Committee was instructed to redact 67 pages, which left out the details that could have been used to prevent future hacks in 2020. It wasn't a single attempt. They're doing it as we sit here, Mueller said, blah, 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 although Mueller apparently did not know where he was sitting. The release of the report urges states to take precautionary measures to protect voters. And, of course, the Senate's solution is a $775 million bill, so almost $1 billion. What is missing from this story? This story's being broadcast all over the national news. It was a big story I was watching the overnight news when I was doing my show prep this morning, and they were talking about it. What is missing from that story? There's something big missing. You know, I have newspaper experience. A lot of people don't know this. I was on the high school newspaper for 2 years. That's right. The teacher kicked me off for my senior year, though. He said I goofed off too much. Wouldn't let me back for that third year. But I do know I do know how to write news stories. I was trained in the 10th and 11th grade by a very good teacher. Very good teacher. He's passed away. Very good teacher. In fact, this teacher, it's very funny. His name was Mr. Ogle at Stranahan High School in Fort Lauderdale. And he was a teacher for like 50-something years. and he was in charge of the newspaper, and I believe it was his daughter. It's been a while. His daughter was a newspaper person, like a real newspaper, like Miami Herald or something. And when he died, they contacted me for an interview because I work in broadcasting, and they were looking for people that were students of his that went on to have careers in media. So they come to me, and they interviewed me. Can you imagine? And I did leave out the part where he kicked me off the newspaper for my senior year because I goofed off too much in class. But that's how it goes. But but anyway, I do know about newspapers. What's missing from this story is the how the Russians did it. Who, what, when, where, how. Did I leave one out? Can you still say how, or is that like racist against Indians? Who, what, when, where, how. That's a newspaper story. That's a news story. I don't know how I remember that. I haven't said it like that in a long time, but I remember who, what, when, where, how. We got the who, the Russians. We got the when, the 2016 elections. The who, what, when, and how. But we don't have the how. Right? We don't have the how. How did the Russians attempt to hack the election? The computers that have voting things connected to it are not networked. They are not hooked up to the internet. They are not networked computers, people. How do you hack election machines that are not networked unless you go up to the machine physically and open it up? This is one of the biggest fake news stories, and the reason this story continues is because the Democrats know they're going to get their butts whipped in 2020, so they're out there planting seeds of doubt about our election process. Now, one day, far in the future, there will be, someone says, I don't know technology. Jimmy in Periscope. Jimmy, call me up on the radio and explain to me the technology. Call me on the radio. It's toll free from whatever couch you're sitting on. All right? Call me, 1-888-465-2631. But when a Democrat wins the presidency again, God forbid, but it will happen again one day, far in the future, there'll be no hacking in that election. Oh, no. Only when Republicans win will they undermine the process. So how did they hack non-networked voting machines and computers that are not networked? They're not networked. They're not connected to the internet. How did they attempt to do it? I would very much like to know. I'm serious. So I don't buy any of this. I don't buy any of this. This is what the Democrats do. All right, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. That's right, still going strong. So much going on, so much to talk about. We have only just scratched the surface, people. We'll be right back.
Kane inviting you to come see the all-new Toyota of Hollywood. You know, for the past 4 years in a row, Toyota of Hollywood has been #1 in volume for Toyota sales in the southeast region of the United States. There are lots of places you can shop for a new car, but there is only one Toyota of Hollywood where you will be treated like royalty. The service you receive at Toyota of Hollywood is second to none. No high-pressure sales, no hassle, no haggling, just the best deal on the brand new Toyota of your choice. At Toyota of Hollywood, there is a full line of new and pre-owned Toyotas.
Okay, what was Mike Lindell's announcement?
And your family. I drive a Sienna van. Plenty of room, not only for the kids, but for the grandkids.
Did anybody
as well.
catch
It's
Mike
roomy,
Lindell's
it's
announcement?
comfortable, it drives like a dream. And then there's my favorite model of Toyota, the Camry. I've owned 3 of them over the years, and boy, are they made to last. That's right. You take care of your Toyota.
Thank
it
you. She
will
is doing
take
better. better.
Review. Then, of course, as a starter car for the kids in college, the fabulous Corolla, the ultimate in driving efficiency, priced perfectly for that first car. When you shop at Toyota of Hollywood, make sure you ask for Steve Ostrov. That's right, he's the GM. He's a big Steve Kane fan, and he is going to give
Did he
you
announce
the
he's gonna run
deal
against
of a
Omar?
Lifetime. The new Toyota of Hollywood, 400,000 square feet with the most gorgeous Toyota automobiles you have ever seen. Located between Sheridan Street and Hollywood Boulevard on Highway 441, open till midnight. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Attention seniors, do you have a Medicare supplement policy that you are currently paying $200, $250, or even $300 a month? Do you realize that you could save 50 to 75% on your premiums? Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080. And Debbie and her team will share with you how you can save 50 to 75% on your premiums for your Medicare supplement policy. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Steve Kane Show.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of My Pillow.
Yeah,
and like
okay.
all of you
Did you
out
catch
there,
the
I had
Mike
problems
Lindell thing?
sleeping. Pillows would go flat. I would flip-flop
Yes.
all night long.
Hold on.
I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented My Pillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. My Pillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed. It's about how much of that
Let me call
quality
Steve.
sleep we
Is he
get. I
kind?
do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry My Pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever.
For a limited time, go to MyPillow.com and Mike will give you 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price.
Phone.
And you will also receive free shipping when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, or call 1-800-716-4879 and give them promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and receive 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price. Again, use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com or 1-800-716-4879 for this fantastic offer.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry.
I saw it. I need to hear from a more somebody that's a little more credible than what I'm hearing.
$350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with Attorney Barry Segal, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Segal Law Group, with 9 offices in South Florida, including Boca Raton, Plantation, and Coral Springs. Call 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. Hold on, I gotta take care of something here. Hold on. I tell you, I hate Periscope. I hate Periscope. It's filled with the scummiest people in our society are on Periscope. Periscope is the red light district of the internet. I call Periscope the dark web. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. I need some confirmation on Mike Lindell's announcement this morning. I knew it was coming up, but I thought, we'd wait till after the announcement. Instead of me telling everybody in the listening audience to turn the dial, I thought we'd wait until the announcement happened. I need some confirmation from someone I know about the Mike Lindell for My Pillow's announcement this morning, okay? So 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. I need to hear it from somebody that is credible or that I know personally, okay? Yes, Periscope is trash. Periscope is scummy, and some of the most pathetic, sad, sick, twisted people are on Periscope. There's also a lot of good people. There are a lot of good people on Periscope, but the most vocal voices are the creeps. That's right. All right, let's go to Richie the bus driver. I already asked him. He didn't catch it, but hey, Richie.
No, I had just gotten up, but I want to throw something, a couple of things.
YouTube's much different.
One, I want to talk about Omar, but and I know you probably have the clip of her.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, that's a winner, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
but and they just come up with that now. That was hidden all this time. It's a clip where she basically says that she wants to profile white men, that we kill more people than anyone else in the United States.
Yeah, that's correct. We should be more afraid of white men than of Al Qaeda.
Yeah, this is what's in the. And the scary thing is she's a congresswoman that affects me, you, and everybody in this country. I mean, it's really, really pathetic. And you got Nancy Pelosi, just as bad, saying that the president wants to make America white again. I mean, these people are racist against white society, and it's disgusting. It's time that these people are exposed and thrown out.
Well, this is not new. Liberal blacks have, as long as I've been following these things, have always been racist. I mean, remember during the O.J. Simpson murder trial, blacks would call in and say, yeah, O.J. killed 2 people, but who cares? He killed 2 white people. White people have been getting away with killing blacks for 400 years, so what's 2 for us? I mean, this was how black people were done. Remember the law students cheering when he was acquitted of the murders he obviously committed? Black liberals have a history of racism. We all know that.
To this country, they're always pointing the finger at the white man, and I mean, and they're worse. They're worse right now. Listen, I went through a lot of years sitting on that bus, listening to when I was the only white face on that bus, listening, just not even talking, listening. It was like being in the barbershop. If you think that, I heard the word cracker probably 50 times a day on my bus.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what it was like for you as you were a bus driver? You were like invisible to them. They viewed you as kind of like a servant, and they talked freely around you because you're just a bus driver and you were invisible to them. You know what I mean?
If I could only have had recordings, people would be in literal shock, total shock. And this schmo that called you up from Jamaica yesterday, by the way, he's really a schmo, man. He's really a schmo.
Yeah.
Let me say this real quick for all you ignorant people out there. The President of the United States was basically attacked by prosecutors who hated his guts, and he had nobody on his side speaking. These were just their reports. There was no counter to this. There was no opposition. He had no lawyers that could defend any of their charges. So this was a one-sided kangaroo court that you heard the other day. This is for this Jamaican idiot that called up.
Yeah.
The President of the United States did this and did that. Nothing was proved because there was no defense. If they think they got enough on this president, let him impeach him, so then he can defend himself. But they know they won't do that because he can't, because they have nothing. He did nothing.
Yeah.
Accused them of a lot of crap, one-side accusations, and that's not how the law works.
Well, and also, the Democrats have no issues to run on, so they're running on Trump hate. It's really desperate of them.
Exactly. And by the way, this Russian hacking, Catherine Heritage was on TV yesterday with a report. The Russians put out bad information on Trump too. The dossier was the Russians, and the fact is that the Russians were trying to get both of them muddied in the water. So who?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm going to just change things a little bit here, but I want to talk about the cruise for a second because Richie's going with us on the Steve Kane cruise. And I'm going to be very cryptic in what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to give you any details. And I'm just telling you to do something. Next time you speak with Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, ask him about the stowaway. He'll know what that means. Just ask him about the stowaway, because he'll get a kick out. But I want you to know about this. Oh, well, it could be. Well, just ask about the stowaway story, and he'll tell you all about it. But Richie, the bus driver, who he's been on all of our Steve Kane cruises. He's coming with us. Richie, the bus driver, is he won't say professional. He'll say amateur. But I saw Richie at the blackjack tables cleaning up on the last cruise, and he did so well at the tables that he's got this special gambler status. He's like a Japanese businessman flying into Vegas, right? The way they treat him at celebrity cruises with your gambling. And we are putting together, Richie is having a workshop on how to play and how to win at blackjack. The cruise leaves on a Friday afternoon. This is going to be Saturday, or close to lunchtime. We've got a special room set up. Richie is going to have a microphone, and I'll be there with him. You know, somebody's got to be there to rip the mic out of your hand, Richie, because once you get a mic in your hand, who knows? You might be there for the whole week. But when you come, it's going to be pretty interesting. We're looking forward to that. But everyone can call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779. Yeah.
The best way to win in a casino, this is, I hope you don't cut me with this when I tell you this. The best way to win in a casino is not to go in. But
yes,
if you're going to go in and risk your money, you got to try to do it with the best chance of winning.
Yeah.
Have mother luck with you.
Yeah, but there's a lot. You got to have some. Yeah. You got to know when to hold them, when to fold them, and when to walk away. I don't gamble. Okay, so I'm going to go to the workshop. Yeah, I'm a winner. I don't gamble, and the reason I don't gamble is sometimes I'll play the slots. That, you know, that's not gambling. You know, that's just throwing money overboard. Yeah, that's entertainment. You know, I might as well just throw money and make wishes off the side of the ship. You know, but you can.
Never know. You never.
I've won money on slot machines. I've won hundreds on slots. Actually,
in Hollywood in the Mardi Gras casino, this is the truth. Real quick, there was 8 machines to play, and no, there was 10. There was 8 machines taken. There was 2 open. There were 2 different kinds of machines. I said, "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo." This is a true story. I sat at Michael Jackson's slot machine. The machine at the very end, a lady sits down about 3 minutes after, and now they're all taken. She yells out after about 3 minutes, "I got it." Everybody got up. $128,000, I believe it was, $300-something. She hit a progressive that I had the chance to sit.
Wow. You know, I'll tell you, this is why someone gave me a tip about slot machines, and I have found it to be very effective. And this was somebody that was a gambling addict. When you go to a casino, play the slot machines that are closest to the door and at the ends of the rows, because the casinos like people when they're walking in to see people winning. So that I've been told that those hit more often. And is a myth. I don't know. I've had good luck with it.
It works on a generated number that it's like a laser light shooting through the casino. It depends on when you.
Yeah.
The very time that laser light goes over your machine.
Yeah. Well, there's another thing I do too, and this can get you in trouble, but I do this too. If I like to sit down at machines where people just got up from that have been losing, and I've had some pretty good runs with that. And if you hit big when right after somebody leaves, I mean, they had a whole episode of CSI where somebody was killed on that in CSI Las Vegas. You know, people get upset if you do that, but I know that's not good etiquette, but I do. You do that too?
Well, no, because a machine, you would think a machine's lost, you were losing money for an hour.
It could happen. Yeah, that's right. But when it comes to, slots are just total luck, and these tips I'm telling you about are just how I make it fun. When it comes to blackjack, there's a lot of knowledge and skill involved, and that's what Richie's going to share in the workshop on the cruise. All right, Richie, take care, man. All right, yeah, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. Join us. We leave out of Fort Lauderdale. We're going in the beginning of November. First stop, Cayman Islands. Second stop, Costa Maya. Third and final stop is Cozumel. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. His information is listed at SteveKaneShow.com. I'm going to give you his number right now, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And you overnight listeners, call in the middle of the night. Leave a message, and Ian will get back to you. All right, we'll be back.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire of Margate, where they have all the major name brand tires like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for a Sienna van at the other tire shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the tire shops around town. Friendly Tire, only $65. That's more than a 50% savings. Those prices are out the door and on the road.
Bye.
Full mounting and balancing, and no added charges.
They're gonna come back with their
Friendly
troll
Tire
account,
has a
pretend to
great
be somebody
selection
else
of
now.
used tires too, at $30 for most sizes. Call my good buddy Mike at Friendly Tire.
Now, Steve was going to watch the Mike Lindell announcement and let me know, and he hasn't let me know.
954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Denture wearers, are messy adhesives ruining the taste of your food? Is it painful for you to eat? Does the constant denture movement affect your speech? Are you always worried that your dentures will fall out while you're talking or laughing? Do you have sore spots? You are not alone. These are common problems that can be solved simply with dental implants. This is Steve Kane, and I want to introduce you to Brighton Dental Care, where the Kane family goes for all our dental needs. Brighton Dental Care doesn't want cost to stop you from being able to eat the foods you love again and live in comfort. That's why, for Steve Kane listeners, they're offering implants, get this, for just $3,500. That includes 2 implants plus a lower denture. Now, if you go to a dentist in Boca or in Aventura, they're going to charge
Did
you
anyone
$6,000
see
for the exact
Mike
same
Lindell on
implants
TV?
and denture. That's right,
The latest date? Call Ian. I don't know. Call Ian. He'll let you know, Jeff.
$3,500, and that includes the 2 implants.
I don't
plus
know.
Your lower denture. Laugh and live with confidence. Call Brighton Dental Care at 954
465 2631. No one. Steve was going to watch it and let me know, but I think he's saving it for when he gets here.
Ask about special discounts for our military veterans.
Let me call him.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mitchell Matez, and I'm here to tell you about my current work at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. Today, it seems like everyone and his grandmother is practicing hormone replacement, in many cases without the proper experience or training. Be you male or female, if you have lost your desire for sex, feel sluggish and run down, and are having
Yeah, did you catch it?
controlling your weight, you are suffering just a few of the symptoms of the aging process.
Oh.
At the Boca Raton Center for Age
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't see it on.
hormone replacement
All right, well, it's 7 o'clock, so.
with age management is unparalleled in South Florida.
Oh, Steve was going to watch it and get it for me, and he missed it.
Implantable hormone pellets, which can balance your hormones for up to 6 months at a time. For more information on how hormone therapy can help you, go to hormonetherapybocaraton.com or speak to Stephanie at 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with 9 offices in South Florida, including Boca Raton, Plantation, and Coral Springs. Call 1-855-FLA-3782. Listen to...
All righty, welcome everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio. A lot of people in the chat room are asking me a lot of details about the Steve Kane cruise. You've got to call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. He's the travel agent for our cruise. He knows all the little details. I'm a big picture guy. I did organize it with the events and everything, but there's a lot of little minute details that you're going to have to call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot for. And I'm telling you, he'll have them right there at the top of his head. Call him right now. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. His number listed at stevekaneshow.com as well. Has anyone heard the Mike Lindell announcement? I'm trying to pick up on that. Okay, I missed it. Steve was going to monitor and let me know, and he missed it. He was in the shower or something. So I think I know what it is, but I need to hear confirmation from someone credible or someone that I know personally who saw it. I'm not going to say what's all over the Twitter until we know for sure what it is. I'm not going to trust that Twitter mob with something unconfirmed. I bet this is Steve. Hello? Hello? Oh, okay. All right. That was Steve, but he butt dialed me. Steve just butt dialed me. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, goodness gracious. A butt dial from Steve. Because I thought he was going to be monitoring. He was calling on our back line. All right. Well, that's that. We'll find out. Oh. Democrat debate coming up. Mayor Pete's in trouble. I'll get to that in a little bit. I don't go to the movies. I will be going to the movies in December because the new Star Wars movie's coming out. I don't go to the movies anymore. I used to be a huge movie fan. I used to see sometimes 2 movies in a day in the theater. I'm just not a movie fan. I don't have time to go into the movies. I'm very, very busy. Got a lot going on in my life. But I'm just not into it. And movie prices are so expensive. I like watching the stuff at home. It's not that I don't like movies. I'm more into binge watching TV shows, quite frankly, than I am movies. And the only time I go to the movies anymore is every couple of years when a Star Wars movie comes out. Quentin Tarantino's got his new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I did see some good reviews on it. But, you know, there was a time when I was a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. There was a time where if Quentin Tarantino did anything, I was there. But he has not made a movie that was really worth watching in a long time. In a long time. In fact, even Inglourious Bastards, I saw that in the theater, but you know, a little long, a little boring. I can't remember the last Tarantino movie I saw that I was like, wow. I did like Jackie Brown, but I remember when Pulp Fiction came out. It's when I first knew of Tarantino. I know it was after Reservoir Dogs, but I saw Reservoir Dogs after I saw Pulp Fiction. I was just blown away by Pulp Fiction. I was like, boom, man, this is the greatest movie. I saw it in the theater twice, Pulp Fiction. And I just thought this was the greatest movie. And a couple years ago, Pulp Fiction was on television, and I was watching it. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is boring. You know, I mean, maybe I've just grown up. I don't know. But I heard Tarantino's, they're talking about Tarantino doing the next Star Trek movie. I don't know. J.J. Abrams pretty much destroyed it, so bring in Tarantino. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm just not interested in anything Tarantino has to do, does anymore. Are you? Now, Kurt Russell's in this movie. The only thing I'm interested in this new movie, does Kurt Russell, he plays a stuntman in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Is he the same character that he was in that race movie that Tarantino did years ago? But it says here, I'm reading, this is in the New York Post, Quentin Tarantino's exploitation has no place in Hollywood anymore. And what Hollywood has done is, with the Me Too movement, is feminist lesbians have taken over the movie and television industry. And they are not making movies for moviegoers anymore. They're making movies for social justice warriors. Sometimes they call them SJWs, but to me that's like single Jewish woman. No, social justice warriors. And Tarantino is, he's like Don Draper out there in Hollywood now. I'm surprised he got this movie done. And Margot Robbie, who I think Margot Robbie's looks are a little overblown, don't you think? I'm not saying she's ugly or anything, but I don't think Margot Robbie is the prettiest girl in the world, like is being claimed out in Hollywood. And I know we have some listeners in Australia. Please do not take offense of this, because I love Australia. Australians are great people, but there are some people in Australia, Margot Robbie is one of them. If I never heard of Margot Robbie and I never heard her speak with her real accent and just saw her, I would know she was Australian. she's got that. There's a look that many Australian women have, and she's got it. Her face, you can tell she's Australian just by looking at her. I think she's really overblown. But let me read this because the feminazi social justice warriors are putting Tarantino out of business. It says here, Quentin Tarantino's new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is a love letter to the film industry's days of yore, the late 60s to be exact, where men were men, female actors were starlets, and the words Me Too had yet to be hashtagged. This is New York Post. It shouldn't come as a huge surprise that a guy who partnered with Harvey Weinstein up until his downfall would feel a bit nostalgic about the good old retro days of the film biz. I can't read well today. I'm getting like Robert Mueller. But just like Harvey Weinstein, Quentin Tarantino, his new movie is Boy Bye, or whatever. I don't know what that means exactly. There was a time and place for Tarantino, who gave us his share of strong female characters. Uma Thurman's Kill Bill series, Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown's a great movie. But he never strayed far from his urge to exploit in films, fetishizing the N-word, relishing in sadistic treatment of women. Look no further than Jennifer Jason Leigh in The Hateful Eight. I haven't gotten through the first 5-10 minutes of Hateful Eight. It's been on TV. I've tried. I don't know what happens with that. It goes on, but they're saying that there's no place for Tarantino in Hollywood anymore. Who the hell are they making movies for then? Moviegoers are mostly men, guys. And the movie business caters to what young guys like to see. That's what movies are all about. It's usually, with rare exception, movies are made hits and genres are made popular by young men, teenage boys who go to the movies. There's a couple of exceptions to this, but they're destroying the movie. They're no longer in Hollywood in the business of being in business. They're social justice warriors now who have a feminist agenda. Profits be damned. No longer does it matter how many asses you get in seats. It's what message you send through your film. All films are now art. So the film business going down the tubes. And I'll tell you what, let it happen. Let it happen. The movie business, the television business going down the tubes, just like the cable news industry has gone down the tubes. Let it happen. And Quentin Tarantino, he had a good run, but they don't want men out there anymore, and they don't want men going to the theater. They want a bunch of feminized metrosexual and gay guys going to movies, but they don't want heterosexual young teenage boys that have lots of hormones going to the theater anymore. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. It's 7 a.m. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
Whereas are messy adhesives ruining the taste of your
Steve
food?
Kane
Is
Show.
it painful for you to eat? Does the constant denture movement affect your speech? Or you always
Hey, hold
feel
on.
that your dentures will fall out while you're talking or laughing? Do you have sore spots? You are not alone. These are common problems that can be solved simply with dental implants. This is Steve Kane, and I want to introduce you to Brighton Dental Care, where the Kane family goes for all our dental needs. Brighton Dental Care doesn't want cost to stop you from being able to eat the foods you love again and live in comfort. That's why, for Steve Kane listeners, they're offering implants. Get this, for just $3,500. That includes 2 implants plus a lower denture. Now, if you go to a dentist in Boca or in Aventura, they're going to charge you $6,000 for the exact same implants and denture. That's right, $6,000. But at Brighton Dental Care, just $3,500, and that includes the 2 implants plus your lower denture. Laugh and live with confidence. Call Brighton Dental Care at 954-922-4633, 954-922-4633, and online at brightondentalcare.com. Be sure to ask about special discounts for our military veterans.
Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM W237BD Boca Raton, the Health and Wealth Radio Network.
People put off the medical care they need for a lot of reasons. My deductible is too high. I don't have insurance. My schedule is too hectic. I just can't afford it. The time for excuses is over. Thanks to Any Lab Test Now of Plantation, where they guarantee the lowest
Central
prices
Time?
on all of their thousands of lab tests.
Oh, 'cause he's in Central Time. Okay, so we got 20 minutes, that's why. I saw 6:20, I didn't see the Central Time.
$49. Diabetic A1C test, only $27. No doctor's order or prescription needed. All testing is always anonymous and confidential. In and out in 15 minutes or less. Most results in 24 to 48 hours. Make sure to ask about their allergy testing, which includes micronutrient and environmental allergies, and vitamin deficiency tests, drug testing, you name it. Any Lab Test Now or Plantation, probably test for it. Any Lab Test Now or Plantation is located at 8367 West Sunrise Boulevard in the Jacaranda Plaza on the corner of University Drive and Sunrise Boulevard in Plantation. Give them a call, 954-916-1072. 954-916-1072. Online, labtestingplantation.com. Take control of your health with Any Lab Test Now of Plantation. 954-916-1072.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to one pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the sole authority today, 954-597-7060.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people.
That coffee tastes like total crap.
When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel,
Total crap.
we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs.
The bad taste does more to wake me up. It's not a Picard movie, it's a Picard series, and it looks like total crap.
FLA 3782. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests.
What am I here? What am I here to entertain you during the breaks?
Management or sponsors.
Supposed to dance during the commercials?
Live in Morning Drive,
It's Dunkin'
6 till
Donuts.
9 a.m. weekdays and overnights midnight till 6 a.m. 7 nights a week. To call the show toll free.
All righty now. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. I am drinking the worst tasting coffee I've had in a long time from Dunkin' Donuts. Appreciate it, Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, this coffee, what is this, 6 days old? It tastes awful. You know, and I'll tell you, the bad taste is doing more to give me energy than any caffeine that may be in it. Ugh, yuck. But I'm going to continue to drink it. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. We are live in Morning Drive, weekday mornings, from 6 until 9 a.m. Eastern Time, with overnight rebroadcast midnight till 6 a.m. 7 nights a week. And, of course, the Friday show is the most important Steve Kane show of the week, because this is not just our Friday Morning Drive edition. This is our overnight rebroadcast for the entire weekend. And just on our 5 Florida radio stations, we are on 3 FM stations and 2 AMs, just on our 5 Florida radio stations. I'm not including iHeartRadio, TuneIn, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Periscope, SteveKaneShow.com, our radio station app, and all the other platforms and places that carry this program. Just on our 5 Florida radio stations, the Friday edition of the Steve Kane Show airs 33 times before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure that the Friday show is the best. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brian. How are you? So just a couple of quick things you were talking about. Let's go to Hollywood. You've got the Amazon Studios, okay? Now, from what I've gathered, they are also the owners are under investigation. They've made sure that they've secured a position in New Zealand to film the Hobbit series.
Oh, okay.
They want to be assured that the gun grab deal was going down and that they were going to be safe. Now, I've got big concerns over everything that's going on because my thinking is they're going to come into New Zealand and ask for amity here for protection because of what's unfolding with the investigations in America. John Podesta, when he was here in March, days before the shooting, he also warned New Zealand, so New Zealand was a juicy target coming into our elections for a hat.
Oh, interesting little information there. So you're suggesting that the shooting may have happened to further the leftist gun grab agenda in New Zealand?
Most certainly.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I want to quickly get on to another thing. USHI, okay, write this down.
USHI.
International Union of Socialist Youth. You need to all look into this, actually. It's been around since 1907. It is about the youth. It's a communistic, socialistic network. My Prime Minister actually was the president over it, over 100 nation of youth. Been around 112 years. Why haven't we heard about this?
Yeah.
This drives the youth mentality, so, you know, the corruption within the youth today. It drives the LGBTQ community, and it has a feminist movement.
Uh-huh.
He got everything. That's where he got it. He wrote a quote, "He who owns the youth gains the future." So USHI is a very important thing for everybody to dig into right now.
Well, I got to tell you, you know, there have been two major things that have stopped these socialist globalists from taking over Western civilization. Here in the United States, you know, we have President Trump. In the UK, they just elected the British Donald Trump. Boris is now the Prime Minister over there. You guys in New Zealand and in Australia are too far away for us to do as much to help as we would like, but we're standing fast with you, New Zealand.
As you were going into your election, John Key was my Prime Minister at the time, had talked about running for another election. When Hillary lost the election, he all of a sudden resigned because we've been funding the Clinton Foundation, which is now under full investigation.
Oh, well, this is interesting. The Clinton Foundation was raping New Zealand as well? This is, wow.
Yes. Now, here's the whole thing. We know when they make an action, there's got to be a reaction. When they go ahead, they always have a backstop, correct?
Yeah.
They have a backstop. Jacinda Ardern, my Prime Minister, was Hillary Clinton's backstop.
Oh, that does, yeah, there you go. It does not surprise me. Hey, listen, I got to run New Zealand, but thanks for the call. Oh, Mayor Pete, just seemed like a couple weeks ago, Mayor Pete was the it girl. He's on the cover of magazines. He's there with his husband. He's all over the place. And he's a weird-looking dude. I know, you know, President Trump said he looks like Alfred E. Newman. And then all of a sudden, Mad Magazine went out of business. I kind of think Mayor Pete looks like one of the Tracy family from Thunderbirds. Guys, remember the Tracy family and the Thunderbirds? Yeah, this is Mayor Pete. Listen to this. This is in Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire. A pair of seasoned Los Angeles-based Black Lives Matter leaders recently traveled to Indiana to help local progressives organize residents against South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg as he contends for the Democratic presidential nomination. Dr. Melina Abdullah, who leads Black Lives Matter's LA chapter, BLM LA, headlined a community meeting last Wednesday attended by the family of Eric Logan, a 54-year-old black man who was shot and killed by a white South Bend police officer June 16th. She was accompanied by Greg Killey, a former union organizer who was mentioned by Cesar Chavez in the 70s. They were invited to South Bend to organize in the wake of the officer-involved shooting death, according to Black Lives Matter LA. That sounds like a TV show, right? NCI, New Orleans, NCI, LA, BLM LA. What we saw with the murder of Eric Logan at the hands of police is really an opportunity to revisit and re-engage around the questions of police violence in black communities, Abdullah told a crowd of about 75 people gathered at a restaurant in South Bend. Oh, I missed this on CNN. Is CNN no longer covering Black Lives Matter because they're going after Mayor Pete? Black Lives Matter has been dormant for a while. Attendees wanted to learn from Abdullah's experiences, explore ways to collaborate with Black Lives Matter in South Bend, and advance local organizing efforts targeting Buttigieg and the South Bend Police Department. You know, black people don't like gays. A big thing about that. I don't know why, but black people don't like the gays. This was about getting everybody in a room and empowering each other and moving forward, said Jordan Geiger, founder of a newly formed local activist group called Black Tavist. T-A-V-I-S-T. What's a Tavist? Can someone tell me what a Tavist is? That's right. And this was all in an interview in Mayor Pete's hometown paper, South Bend Tribune. Geiger organized a get-together following a Young Turks report that said Sergeant Ryan O'Neill, the police officer who killed Logan, had a history of allegations of racist language. Yes. O'Neill did not have his body camera turned on when he fired his handgun last month. Authorities said O'Neill is the officer. Authorities said Logan approached Officer O'Neill while holding a knife and refused orders to drop it. But since he didn't have his camera on, we really don't know. At a Black Lives Matter rally July 13th, Black Tavist issued a list of demands for Buttigieg, which included paying reparations to Logan's family, fire or demote the police chief, and terminate Sergeant O'Neill, who went on to step down from the police force last week. O'Neill resigned because of community pressure, so I think the community absolutely has to see that as a victory. See, this is what happened. This is why you can never apologize to the left, because they always want more. The officer has resigned. Now they want everybody to resign and be demoted, right? They're never satisfied. Dr. Abdullah launched a similar campaign against L.A. Mayor Garcetti in 2016 and the LAPD. So they had some victories out of there. Buttigieg temporarily suspended his presidential campaign for several days following Logan's death, but it's back on now. South Bend activists have organized a sit-in for August 3rd to draw attention to the demands presented to Mayor Pete Buttigieg. A flyer describes the upcoming action as a 24-hour standoff to take place at the county city building. Abdullah told local organizers, "We cannot lose this moment. We have to save Eric Logan's life, and the way in which his life was stolen can be used to preserve the lives of other people." Oh, boy. You know, and Don Lemon is moderating this next Democrat debate. He should be all over that with Buttigieg, shouldn't he? You know, Don Lemon, he was all over these other stories of people that were shot by white police officers. Remember Ferguson? Oh, man. Don Lemon basically moved into Ferguson. Oh, real quick, and then we got a break. I've never watched this show before. At least I don't remember watching it. But I watched last night Comedians in the Car. What's that Jerry Seinfeld show called? Comedians in Cars. And I watched it last night. Eddie Murphy is on it. And apparently Eddie Murphy's signing some Netflix deal. Paid obscene amounts of money. I like Eddie Murphy. And Comedians in Cars, and I watched this Comedians in Cars. It was Seinfeld driving around a Porsche, of course, with Eddie Murphy. And I have not seen a real interview with Eddie Murphy ever. The only other interview I've seen with Eddie Murphy goes so far back. It goes back to the Arsenio Hall days. Because he used to pal around with Arsenio Hall, and there were rumors about him. Now Eddie Murphy has like 15 kids or something, you know. I guess he proved wrong, those Arsenio Hall rumors. But I've not seen an interview with him, a real interview. And it was very interesting. And you know what my biggest takeaway from Eddie Murphy was? Is that he's really a white guy. He's not very black. And because he was talking about his life, you know, Jerry Seinfeld and Eddie Murphy made their comedy club debut on the same night on the same stage at a comedy club in New York. And Eddie Murphy grew up in Long Island. And he was talking about who his big heroes were as a kid, Evel Knievel and Elvis Presley. Kind of black guy is fans of Evel Knievel and Elvis Presley. When he got into comedy, Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby, but I would go watch this, see if you have the same reaction. Eddie Murphy's really a white guy, trapped in a black man's body. I was shocked to see and hear what he's really like. He's very funny, by the way. I mean, I've always been a fan of, who has not been a fan of Eddie Murphy? I've always been a fan of Eddie Murphy's since I first heard about him. But he's not black at all. I mean, he is, what do blacks call, what is that, Oreo? He's an Oreo. He's an Oreo, black on the outside, white on the inside. That's Eddie Murphy. He's an Oreo. It's pretty interesting. I enjoy it. I've never watched the show before, but check it out. Eddie Murphy with Seinfeld. It's on Netflix. Comedians in Cars and Coffee. What was that? Something about coffee. I can't remember the name of the. Can't even remember the name of the thing. And he told some good stories about Sammy Davis and others, and he gave a little bit of insight into his run-in with Bill Cosby. Remember, he used to, you know. But I just was surprised how white he is. I mean, he has. What I saw is not a man who has any experience as an African-American man, really, from an African-American thing. He's, you know, basically white guy. Anyway, check it out. It's on Netflix, Jerry Seinfeld with Eddie Murphy. I hope he comes back, you know, with this stand-up thing. He hasn't done stand-up in about 100 years, but it was a pretty interesting thing. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's the number. Toll free from anywhere. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire of Margate, where they have all the major name brand tires like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for a Sienna van at the other tire shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the tire shops around town. Friendly Tire, only $65. That's more than a 50% savings. Those prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of used tires too at $30 for most sizes. Call my good buddy Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
From the Siegel Law Group, my good friend Barry Siegel. Barry, how are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm having a great morning. How are you?
I'm having a great morning and looking forward to our breakfast next week.
Me too, Steve. Always look forward to seeing you. Today I want to talk about a area of your overall estate plan that doesn't necessarily have to deal with your assets. It has to do with important decisions that need to be made during your lifetime, and that deals with your health care documents. That's part of a good estate plan. There are three essential health care documents that are part of a great estate plan. One is your health care surrogate designation, which allows you to name those who you give the responsibility of making important medical decisions for you if you don't have the capacity to do so yourself. Those decisions could include end-of-life decisions such as pulling the plug. The second document is the living will, which is the document, think of it as a memo to your healthcare decision maker as to whether you want to have your plug pulled or not. So if you don't have your mental capacity and you're either have a terminal condition, an end-stage condition, or a persistent vegetative state like that Terry Schiavo had over in that Clearwater case many years ago, then it says you either want the machines keeping you alive, helping you breathe, and the feeding tube and the water tube, or you want those things removed. And then the one that most people don't know about is the HIPAA authorization, and that's so important. The HIPAA, that stands for Health Information
Steve Kane Show.
Portability and Accountability Act. That came
I know.
into law in 2003. And so now when you go to the doctor, they want you to sign off that you read their HIPAA policy. And essentially that says that they can share your medical information with other medical providers, but not with anyone else. But with your HIPAA document in your estate planning, it says to the medical provider not to share your medical information with anyone except for the people you list on that document, such as your spouse or your brother, your sister, your parents, your children, or friends. Whoever you name, they can access your medical information, your records, and speak to the medical providers. Without that, they're trying not to give out that information, and that could be a disaster. So those are the three important healthcare documents that are part of an overall estate plan.
All right, there you have it. If you want to make an appointment with Attorney Barry Siegel, you're going to find him a delight.
Went to
He's
BLM,
very
too.
knowledgeable, and he can help you solve those problems that are for some people very difficult to
Don't
solve.
be reporting people. What are you,
Call
the
to
secret
make an
police?
appointment,
Just block
1-855, that's toll free, by the way. 1-855-FLA 3782.
Just block
Barry,
somebody you want to see. Don't
talk to you.
report
We'll
people.
Speak soon, all right?
What are you? What are you, the
Take care.
KGB?
All right.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with 9 offices in South Florida, including Boca Raton, Plantation, and Coral Springs. Call 1-855-FLA-3782.
Oh. All right, welcome back. I didn't have the rejoin queued up, so oh well. Welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Florida's the longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Oh yeah, I forgot. Alexa, play WWNN radio. Boom, there we go. Alexa, volume 7. I don't like to turn it up too loud. That's a good number. Waking people up in their houses. Yeah, absolutely. All right, welcome back. This is the Steve Kane Show. Oh, let's just go to the phones. What the heck? Conservative Doug, you're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning. I want to mention something about this Mueller hearing. I thought I would have loved to see our side. Didn't have the time, I guess, but I'd love to see them say, you guys all keep saying on the Democrat Socialist side that nobody's above the law. But not one of you has ever said anything about Hillary Clinton breaking the law, or what Tucker said, a DACA program, or open borders, or sanctuary cities, and paint them for exactly what they are. That would have been nice to have the American people.
Well, it's a very, listen, we talk, it's very interesting what's going on with the Democrats. I mean, if you were to sum up what the Democrat Party as a whole, I'm talking about all of them, not just the creeps in the Mueller hearing. I'm talking about the ones running for president. I'm talking about the mainstream media. What is the one thing that the Democrats are running on, would you say? You'll probably get it wrong because you always get things wrong, Doug. But I'll tell you if you get it wrong. There's basically one thing they're running on, all of them, and promoting. What is it?
Well, man, there's so many things.
No, there's one. Well, those are all the offshoots. They're all the media are promoting this, and all the Democrats are running on it. It's not free stuff. It's not open borders. It's hatred of the white man. They're running on a racial ticket. White men. They're running. That's the evil. I don't mean the white man Donald Trump. White men in general. And the Democrat Party, the party of Jim Crow, the party of the Confederacy, the party of the Klan, the party of slavery. They're once again, this is beyond the race card. When you look at what they're, every little issue you mentioned and all the others are all summed up by running against the white man, the squad. And this is why I was telling this to Steve the other day on the air. What minorities believe, AOC and all the rest, is that white men have had their run. And it's the time of the minority now. And white men need to sit down and shut the F up. because it's our time. Now, I'm telling you. That's what they're saying. And that's what they believe, because they're sick and they're bigots, they're racist. They hate white men, they hate white people, and they think that we've run the country for over 200 years, and now it's their time. I'm telling you, that's the whole agenda, and a summed up. Even if you look at Russia, the evil Russia, that's another white guy, Putin.
Yeah, well, this fringe group that's out there saying this, they're still the small minority that has no chance of winning. So some white person is probably going to win. I don't think Kamala Harris has a chance in hell. And
oh, by the way, I posted this on my Twitter and Instagram. Candace Owens was somewhere, and Kamala Harris was talking to someone, and Candace Owens, without Kamala Harris knowing, went up next to her and got a good selfie with Kamala Harris. It's very funny. I put it up on my Twitter and Instagram if you guys want to check it out. But if you think about it, that is what they are running on. That white men, white people have no place and should have no voice in our society any longer. That's what they're running on.
We did everything evil in the world.
Well, no, we ended the evils. We didn't. America didn't start slavery. The Europeans did, and we ended it on this continent. But they don't understand that.
The fringe group,
Well, I don't know. But that's everything they are running on now. Is the time of the white man is over. I've talked about this a lot. When the reason that they're so they're not triggered by Trump because he beat Mrs. Clinton. When Obama was elected in the first time, minorities in this country decided they were the new majority. They used to say, oh, we're the majority now. And they thought that the presidency was going to be handed from minority to minority, from a black president to a female president, and then maybe another black guy or a Latina. They didn't think that there was going to be a white man president for a long, long time, because they thought now the reason they think they're a majority, there's a reason why minorities think they're a majority. What do you think it is?
They got the media behind them.
No. You get every question. You'd be awful on Jeopardy. You'd be awful on Jeopardy. No, the reason that minorities think they're the majority is because they live a segregated life. They only associate with people who look like them. They only go, if they're black, they go to black barbershops. If they're Hispanic, they go to Hispanic businesses. They segregate themselves, and in their world, there are no white people in their world or circle. So they think they're the majority because they don't associate with people that don't look like them. That's what they do.
I think that's a good point. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, I also think that the media keeps pushing everything black, and Spanish, and the white man, the evil.
Well, here's a good tell. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, I was talking about this in more detail on my podcast last night because I thought it was something interesting. But I'll do a quick thing here because I'm up against a break. What is the most popular sport in the world?
Football.
No, I didn't ask America. Soccer. Football is the most popular sport in America. If what the left were telling us is true, that the country has changed, that the demographics of the country have changed, and that whites were a minority, soccer would be more popular than football, or at least equally as popular, because in Latin America, the number one sport is soccer. Remember down in Colombia, they killed that one guy because he scored a goal for the other team. Remember, and they murdered him down there. Remember that guy? So yeah, if the demographics of this country had changed to the extent that they're telling us, soccer would be more popular in this country than it is, because in Latin America, They kill people who mess up on the team, right? And soccer, male or female, has not taken off in this country. Now, when soccer becomes as big as football, then we'll know that the demographic has changed. But until that happens,
Worldwide, not just South America, man, everybody plays soccer, watches soccer. It's a big, I don't particularly watch it, but once in a while.
okay. All right, Doug, you got all my questions wrong, but hey, appreciate the call. All right, let's take one more. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Yeah, hey Brian, this is Joe from Boca.
Hey, Joe from Boca.
You know, I've noticed something interesting. I have a couple of African-American Democrat friends.
You mean you got a couple black friends? You don't have to get all PC on me. I don't call my daughter African American. She calls herself black. I call her black. No African American.
Trained.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, we've been friends for 20 some odd years. He's back to Gore. He was on the Gore team and all that. All of a sudden, I see him, talking down Bernie Sanders, and he keeps saying, "Bernie, I need to keep my money. Bernie this, Bernie that," and he's saying, "Hey, Bernie, I need cash in my pocket." And Democrats to quash Bernie Sanders and get behind Kamala Harris. So
yeah,
I was going to post on there. I think you sound like a Republican all of a sudden, but I don't think it's that. I think they want to kill Bernie Sanders and get behind Kamala Harris.
Yeah, because they want to have. Well, your African American friends, are they aware that Kamala Harris is not African American, that she's African Canadian, that she grew up in Canada?
I don't think
Yeah, she is.
Matters.
Why is that funny? It's just, she's African Canadian.
She's got enough pigment in her skin to pass, just like Barack Obama did. So the Democrats are getting behind. I guess the minority Democrats are getting behind Kamala and Trump.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I can't. Kamala thinks she's going to be the nominee. Maybe she will. Maybe she'll be the chosen one to lose to Trump. I don't know.
Whoever it is, they're going to lose to Trump regardless, and it's going to be another 4 years of Trump, and hopefully less of this Russian collusion debacle.
Yeah, when the Democrats win, they'll announce there was no collusion in that election with Russia. No interference. All right, Joe from Boca. All right, take care. Yes, it is the weekend. The show's half over. The show is over half over because I'm late for the bottom of the hour break. All right, we'll take our break and we'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever.
For a limited time, go to MyPillow.com, and Mike will give you 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price. And you will also receive free shipping when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, or call 1-800-716-4879 and give them promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. And receive 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price. Again, use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com or 1-800-716-4879 for this fantastic offer.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire of Margate, where they have all the major name brand tires like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for a Sienna van at the other tire shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the tire shops around town. Friendly Tire, only $65. That's more than a 50% savings. Those prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of used tires too at $30 for most sizes. Call my good buddy Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Oh, man, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. By the way, Friendly Tire, open on Saturdays. A lot of you can't make it in during the week. Friendly Tire in Margate, open on Saturday. So stop in. So you may have seen the Justice Department, they brought back the death penalty, and I'll tell you, I am opposed to the death penalty. I'm pro-life. I am opposed to the death penalty. If I were called for jury duty and it was a death penalty case, I would tell there's no way I would send someone to death. I just wouldn't do it. I am anti-death penalty. But the death penalty is back in the federal court. It's been gone for many, many years. And the Department of Justice has released the 5 individuals set to be executed. I'm going to go through these. Let's go through some of these. It's very interesting, especially the first one. Here is the list of the 5 individuals who will be executed. Now, how does federal execution work? Does the president sign that or the attorney general when it's a federal case? Does anyone know? I don't know. Here is the first person on the list, Daniel Lewis Lee, a member of a white supremacist group. Wait a minute. These liberals are telling us that the attorney general and the president are white supremacists. If they were white supremacists, would they be executing one? I don't think so. Yeah, he's a member of a white supremacist group. He murdered a family of 3, including an 8-year-old girl. After robbing and shooting the victims with a stun gun, he covered their heads with plastic bags, sealed the bags with duct tape, weighed down each victim with rocks, and then threw them in the Illinois bayou. Wow. His execution is scheduled for December 9th. You know, even though I'm opposed to the death penalty, I don't talk about it. I'm not an activist. You know, and I figure when they stop giving the death sentence to the unborn children in the womb, then we can worry about guys like Daniel Lewis Lee, right? And it's very interesting to me, these anti-death penalty activists. I'm against it, but I'm no activist. The activists against the death penalty, they'll fight for the right of this monster to live, murdered a whole family, right? But they're also pro-choice and abortion, and they never seem to get the conflict between being pro-abortion but pro-life for the worst of humanity. Here's the next one. Lesmond Mitchell. He stabbed to death a 63-year-old grandmother, forced her 9-year-old granddaughter to sit beside her lifeless body for a 30 to 40-mile drive. He then slit the girl's throat twice, crushed her head with 20-pound rocks, severed and buried both victims' hands and heads. Wow. His execution, December 11th. Here's the next one. Wesley Ira Perky violently raped and murdered a 16-year-old girl, then dismembered, burned, and dumped her body in a septic pond. He also used a claw hammer to murder a 80-year-old woman who suffered from polio and was walking around with a cane. His execution, December 13th. Alfred Bourgeois, physically and emotionally tortured, sexually molested, and then beat to death his 2.5-year-old daughter. His execution, January 13th. And here's the 5th, because these are the 5 on the list. These executions will all take place in the same place in Indiana. Dustin Lee Honkin. He shot and killed 5 people, 2 men who planned to testify against him, and a single working mother and her 10-year-old and 6-year-old daughters. Wow. Wow. His execution, January 15th. So, oh man, who's going to advocate against the execution of those guys? You know who will? Bunch of pro-choice nutcases, okay? A bunch of pro-choice nutcases. They want the killers. They want the rapists. They want these monsters to live. It's amazing to me how they don't. Someone asked how many are black, how many are white. I don't know. I don't have pictures here. But the guy that's named Lesmond, Lezmon, I'm assuming he's black. Lesmond, that sounds like a black guy. But I don't know. I don't know. He may be white too. He might be a white Lesmond. I don't have pictures. And I'm not going to start searching for them on the internet because I'm broadcasting here. But yeah, death penalty's back. But the first one is a white supremacist. So please, liberals, explain to me this. If Donald Trump is a white supremacist, why is he executing a white supremacist? If he's these terrible things that they say that he is. But you know why? Because he's not a white supremacist. That's right. He's not a white supremacist. Shocker. I know. You know, it's absolutely amazing. You know, we talk about Trump derangement syndrome. What triggers them with someone is when they have that R next to their name on the ballot. You know? That's when they really, you know, if Donald Trump had a D next to his name, they'd love him, like everyone loved Donald Trump for all those years. And then when he had that R next to his name, that was the end of that. It was the end of that. Now he's all these terrible isms now, you know, but he wasn't before. That's just how they are. I mean, they're complete nutbags. But you know what? Get used to it. He's going to be reelected. And and we're going to get at least a third Trump term with his chosen successor. So, you know, eventually the Democrats will be back. It'll be a terrible day, too, because when the Democrats win the White House back after the third term of Trump, or maybe even the fourth term, whoever, depends on who's his successor, okay? When they get back in the White House, you know what their whole agenda is going to be? Revenge against us. It's going to be pretty brutal. It's going to be pretty brutal. In fact, what they probably will do is send the Army Corps of Engineers to the southern border to tear down the Great Wall of Trump. That's probably what they'll do. That might be what they run on. All right, we'll take our last break of the second hour. Steve will be joining us in just a bit, and Ed from Tavolino's coming in today. So that's all coming up. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right, indeed it has been. We'll take a break and be right back.
People put off the medical care they need for a lot of reasons. My deductible is too high. I don't have insurance. My schedule is too hectic. I just can't afford it. The time for excuses is over. Thanks to Any Lab Test Now of Plantation, where they guarantee the lowest prices on all of their thousands of lab
Steve Kane Show.
PSA, only $34.
Hey, Janet.
Cholesterol lipid panel, $28. Complete thyroid panel, $49. Diabetic A1C test, only $27. No doctor's order or prescription needed. All testing is always anonymous and confidential. In and out in 15 minutes or less. Most results in 24 to 48 hours. Make sure to ask about the allergy testing, which includes micronutrient and environmental allergies, and vitamin deficiency test, drug testing, you name it. Any Lab Test Now of Plantation, probably test for it. Any Lab Test Now of Plantation is located at 8367 West Sunrise Boulevard in the Jacaranda Plaza on the corner of University Drive and Sunrise Boulevard in Plantation. Give them a call, 954-916-1072. 954-916-1072. Online, labtestingplantation.com. Take control of your health with any lab test now of Plantation. 954-916-1072.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It's time to check in with Janet Cimarelli from Save-A-Lot Nutrition Center in Margate. Hey, Janet, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. So important bringing people who listen to the Steve Kane Show and hopefully tell their family members and their friends about the health tips that they hear every morning here on the Steve Kane Show. This morning, I'm talking about probiotics. Very, very interesting because I think a lot of people misunderstand exactly what the role of a probiotic might be, and they say, okay, well, I eat yogurt pretty frequently, so I really don't need to take a probiotic. The truth of the matter is there is probiotic content in that yogurt, but if you are looking for a therapy for gas, for bloating, perhaps you've been struggling with an immune system that really doesn't work. To your listeners out there, did they know that 80% of your immune system response begins in the colon, and it can't be very efficient if that colon chemistry is not properly balanced? Well, if you're having any of the symptoms of digestive
Here's the first
distress,
question. How do you feel about what's happening in Puerto Rico?
Discomfort, have just not having regular elimination. All of those symptoms point to dysfunction in your gut. And I have a suggestion. From Solgar, there is ProBio 20 and ProBio 30.
Yeah, Bruce Lee, yeah.
It is just one type of lactobacillus. It's Lactobacillus plantarum. So when you're looking at your probiotic product, if you don't see plantarum on that list, you really need to understand how unique plantarum
Thank you for increasing.
is
I got your
and how
notification this morning.
therapeutic it is. So if you haven't been getting the results that you're looking for with regard to digestive health, relief from symptoms of IBS, constipation, gas, and bloating, come on in and see me at the Save-A-Lot Nutrition Center. I'll be there from 12 to 5 today, and I'll tell you all about. You're not taking a high-quality probiotic. The nutrition that you are ingesting might not necessarily be getting.
That's right.
This afternoon.
Yeah, and Save-A-Lot is located in the city of Margate, just south of Sample Road, on the west side of State Road 7, 441, in the Penn Dutch Plaza. And their number, because they ship nationally, they also ship locally. If you can't make it in, I know a lot of you can't drive, or maybe you can't drive that far. They will ship locally as well as nationally at Save-A-Lot. Call 754-307-1655. 754-307-1655. All right, Janet, we'll talk next week. Okay, take care. All right, Cortez is taken to Instagram Live, talking about what's going on in Puerto Rico. Let me play this. I don't have this queued up because it just broke, so I'm gonna put my microphone up to the computer. Okay, let's hear what Cortez, AOC, the commie bartender, has to say about Puerto Rico. Let's see here.
Here's the first question. How do you feel about what's happening in Puerto Rico?
You know, I love this. I love when people that are Hispanic have a perfect American accent until they say a Spanish word, and then they say it's Puerto Rico. and she has an accent just like I do. She says a Spanish word, Puerto Rico. I can't do it, you know. I almost didn't get through Spanish. Because I can't do that thing with the tongue, that the you know, that thrill with the tongue. I don't know what a lot of this in South Florida television news, you get this a lot. Puerto Rico, you know, but everything else is just like a regular American accent. Anyway, back to this.
Here's the first question. How do you feel about what's happening in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
First of all, I am so incredibly proud of everyone in Puerto Rico right now.
See, there it is,
coming
Puerto
together
Rico.
To demand accountability from their government. For those of you who don't know, the situation that went on was that there was about 900 pages of a group chat that was leaked, where the governor participated, and okay, well, here we go. The popcorn's really coming up here. Where the government participated, and rather the governor participated, and there were lobbyists in the.
See, I got to love AOC here, the commie bartender. She's at home in her expensive apartment, and she does Instagram Live all the time. She's making microwaved popcorn while she's talking. More people in Congress should be so natural at home.
Chat. There were other policymakers in the group chat, and not only was it extremely homophobic, where it was extremely misogynistic, but they also mocked journalists. They mocked.
Oh well, let's not. You know, the crime of mocking a journalist. You know, the reason that they ran this governor out is not because of some homophobic things in Spanish about Ricky Martin. It's because they were stealing all the hurricane relief money that Trump sent down there. And you know what? The lady that's taken over, I hear she had some problems in that area too. But he mocked journalists. We're not to mock journalists.
Manipulating the press, and they also mocked what is estimated to be between 3,000 and 4,000 people that died in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria.
Okay, now, she said Maria. She got a Spanish accent. Maria, however she says it. It's Maria. But she gets all that Latina accent there. 3,000 to 4,000. This is one of the big lies. 3,000 to 4,000 died from Hurricane Maria. That is a greater loss of life than Pearl Harbor, a greater loss of life than on September 11th. Where are the bodies? And, you know, in Puerto Rican families are large, okay? You got, 4 or 5 people at least per family. That's a small family, okay? Madria! Hurricane Madria. It's Maria, okay? If there were 3, let's go with the lower end. She says 3,000 to 4,000 died in Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. By the way, Steve and I were just in Puerto Rico last summer. It was beautiful. If 3,000 people died in the hurricane, the average Puerto Rican family is really 5 people, right? Where are the 15,000 grieving family members? Where are they? If that many people died, where are the 15,000 grieving family members? Another thing, where are the graves? You know, I remember after 9/11 in New York, as big as New York is, there was a shortage, a sad thing to say, a shortage of graves. People were donating plots, their own plots, to those who passed on 9/11. So where are the 15,000 grieving family members? Where are the graves? It's one of the biggest lies that we've been sold. But anyway, back to this is AOC.
The general public in Puerto Rico did not have it.
Puerto
They
Rico.
protested, and they were so relentlessly creative. Oh, there you go. Look at that.
The
They
popcorn's
were so
done.
relentlessly creative in their protest that they were able to get the governor to finally resign, as well as some of his cabinet members. So I'm extremely excited.
And notice, she didn't mention all the stolen money, right? She didn't mention all the money. He said some homophobic things, and he questioned journalists. You are not to question journalists. If you question journalists, you've committed a crime.
Que viva Puerto Rico. Tengo tanto orgullo de todas las personas que están ahí demostrando.
Oh.
in las manifestaciones, and so I'm really proud.
Now, to our Spanish speakers out there, does she sound fluent? I don't know. I don't speak the Spanish. But does she sound fluent? Or does she sound like a gringo speaking Spanish? I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know.
Of everyone that's out there, but there's of course a lot of work to be done. I believe that this is really just the beginning of a decolonization process, a process of self-determination where the people of Puerto Rico begin to start to...
She lost the accent. See, she fakes the accent. She said Puerto Rico like an English-speaking Anglo. Through this whole popcorn popping rant, she's a Puerto Rico. I can't even do it. She sounds like Ricky Ricardo, but then she lost the accent. Why? Because she's faking it. Listen.
Everyone that's out there, but there's of course a lot of work to be done. I believe that this is really just the beginning of a decolonization process, a process of self-determination where the people of Puerto Rico begin to...
Oh, yeah. She fakes the accent. She's passing. She's like Elizabeth Warren. She said Puerto Rico like a normal American. I didn't, wow. She's faker. Fakes the accent. She fakes the accent. Wow.
Are taking their own self-governance into their own hands. So I'm really excited about the protest. I'm excited and I'm encouraged to hear of Rosillo's resignation, but it's also just a first step. We have a long way to go. All right, so I'm going to go on another question.
Okay, yeah. Popcorn's ready, so she ended the live feed. So she fakes her accent. Wow, we learned something about AOC today, didn't we? Gee whiz. Oh, man. She fakes the Latina accent. Wow. That's interesting, huh? It's like when Hillary has that fake Southern accent, or Michelle, when she's speaking to a black audience, she gets a more black accent. Boy, we just exposed something. Wow. We just exposed something there. Yeah, she fakes her accent. But at the end there, she's talking about Puerto Rican independence. If Puerto Rico became... I love Puerto Rico. That last Steve Kane cruise we took, I was pushing for that because I wanted to go back to Puerto Rico. I've spent time in Puerto Rico many years ago before I was married. I love Puerto Rico. It is a beautiful place. And the Puerto Rican people are very nice people. I tell you, I remember when we were in Puerto Rico last year, I was with a group of Steve Kane listeners. We went to that one of the Spanish forts together, and we got kind of lost walking back to the ship. We were looking for a bar, and we met some nice Puerto Rican guy, and he took us right to a bar, and he didn't work in the bar. He was a mailman. And, Puerto Rican people, very nice people. Pretty nice people. They have real accents down there, not like Cortez, who fakes her accent. But she's talking about Puerto Rican independence. If Puerto Rico became independent, what would be the first action of the independent Presidente de Puerto Rico? What do you think would be the first? What would be the first thing Puerto Rico would do if they became an independent nation? What do you think? And by the way, we did not colonize Puerto Rico. The Spaniards did. We conquered it in the Spanish-American War, and we never gave it back. They're very lucky about that as well. But what is the first... what the first thing they would do if they became independent? Apply for U.S. foreign aid. That's what they would do. The first thing they would do. So anyway, we have exposed Cortez. She fakes her Spanish accent. She dropped her accent. That is hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah. I've known some people in broadcasting. I'm not going to mention anyone's name other than to tell you they're the female gender. So, that limits it a little bit. But I have heard liberals fake accents on the air before. I've heard liberal women on the air fake and overemphasize a New York accent because they're on the radio in South Florida. They want to sound more New York, And Steve and I, we had this encounter a number of years ago. There used to be a Caribbean radio station that did talk in the middle of the day. It was Caribbean music all day, except at noontime, they did a talk show. Remember Jean Jambon and Miss Ivy? I'm not going to tell you the names. I'm just going to tell you it's a woman, which will narrow it down to a couple of people, and you can figure out who it is. And it was a Caribbean radio station, all Caribbean music, AM 1580. And they did a talk show in the middle of the day, and Steve and I used to guest on their show all the time. It was so very funny, very liberal, and they had these heavy accents, in particular Jean Jabouin, who was pretending to be, I don't know, Haitian or something. And when they were on the air, they had these very heavy Caribbean accents, you know, very stereotypical. Yeah, man, we're on the radio, man, a number, man, and all this stuff. And they had Ward Connerly in studio. Ward Connerly, a black conservative from California, and he was advocating to end affirmative action in the state of California and nationwide. This was back in the 90s, early 2000s. Ward Connerly was on their show, and Steve and I were just listening on that particular day. The Caribbean accents were gone. They sounded just like any other American-born person. There was no, yeah, man, we're on the air, man, and perfect American accents when they were in there with Ward Connerly. And then the next day it was back to the, yeah, man, hey, man, yeah, man, and all this crap, fake stuff. But AOC, I didn't even, that's not even what I was going to talk about with AOC, because I didn't listen to that far into her Instagram live stream, but she faked her accent. All right, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll take our break. Ed from Tavolino's is here. Steve is, I don't know, is around. I know he's on his way because I talked to him. But Steve will be, is that the door? I heard a door open. The doors are like vacuum locked. I hear like a vacuum sound in the background. So Steve will be joining us. We'll take our break. 1 hour to go. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back for the third and final hour right after this.
Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM W237BD Boca Raton, the Health and Wealth Radio Network.
Don't know how you're so articulate to get that mouth going so early.
Oh, it's well.
It's a 2019 showdown at Toyota of Hollywood. We'll do whatever it takes to outsell all other manufacturers. Buy a new Toyota and we'll make your payments till 2020. Buy a new Toyota with 0 down and 0% APR financing. Or buy a Toyota up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not 26,000, 18,775.
Yeah.
A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not 22,000, 13,775. Over 1,500 Toyotas indoors and on sale during our showroom showdown at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the sole authority today, 954-597-7060.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with 9 offices in South Florida, including Boca Raton, Plantation, and Coral Springs. Call 1-855-FLA-3782. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
The Steve Kane Show is live in Morning Drive, 6 till 9 a.m. weekdays, and overnights, midnight till 6 a.m., 7 nights a week. To call the show toll.
All right, we're back. Ed from Tavalino's is here. Hey, Ed.
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, how you doing? Doing good.
Await Steve's arrival.
Yeah, Steve will be here. He'll be here.
He's fashionably late.
Yeah. He's a
little chic.
Well, he got to get here soon because show's almost over. But I just was reading CNN photo editor resigns after anti-Semitic tweets come to light. All of a sudden, CNN's taking issue with anti-Semitic. It says here, a CNN photo editor resigned Thursday evening after an anti-Semitic tweet, or actually tweets plural, resurfaced. One tweet called Jews pigs in the aftermath of the 2011 Palestinian bombing at a crowded Jerusalem bus station. Mohammed Elsmi, age 25, joined CNN in January. Here's Steve. So CNN, they have fired a guy. They let him resign. They didn't even fire. You know, CNN, they're trying to do this victory lap. And if you look at the story, the story is not being reported properly. I found here, this is in the Jewish News Syndicate, a media organization run by Jews. I know the liberals think all media is run by Jews. Not all of it, just maybe a lot of it. But that's okay. This show's run by Jews, right? Steve's a Jew. This is Jewish-controlled radio. Steve Kane Show. Is that okay to say? It is. It's true.
Don't forget what Neil told you.
Don't talk about the Jews, Neil Rogers said. Don't talk about the Jews. But here, the story is being reported that CNN fired an editor over anti-Semitic tweets. They did not fire him. He resigned. They let him resign. So they did not fire him. When you hire a guy named Mohammed, what do you think their position is on the Israeli situation? And the position typically would be a situation like this. But here's the question for CNN, who is CNN's taking credit for having Mohammed resign. They didn't fire him, but they let Mohammed resign after he called Jews pigs. This is what is the difference between what CNN's Mohammed and his position on Israel is than what Tlaib and Omar's position are? Because just this week, both Tlaib and Omar referred to Israel in a way that said they were the equivalent of Nazi Germany. So, and I don't see CNN holding Omar and Tlaib accountable for their anti-Semitism. Anyway, Steve's joining us. Lots going on. Lots happening.
Yes. Ed's here. Ed beat me today.
Good morning. How we doing? Just as a follow-up to what you were saying, Brian, you know, CNN has never really reported the facts of things, and it's obviously biased. So
Yes.
They pick and choose the narrative that they want to go out. So the mainstream media today is just not out for what the truth is and for what justice is. They're perpetuating a narrative that they want to get out.
They really got nailed with their buddy Newick.
Well, they did. And you know, before we get into talking, I've got to relay a serendipitous moment that happened this week to me, and it kind of shows how far and wide your audience goes, Steve. I happened to be in a doctor's office the other day, and I met a spry young lady of 90 years old. That was probably more witty than the three of us together.
One of our younger listeners.
And no, she was on the ball and very opinionated. And we got to talking, and before long, she said she used to own a restaurant in New York. I said, gee, I own a restaurant down here. She says, where, Tammy? She says, oh, I listen to Steve Kane all the time. He's my favorite talk show host.
There you go.
And
she doesn't like me.
What restaurant in New York did you own? She says, Ponte's. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with New York, but Ponte's is a world famous. It was an icon in New York.
Yeah.
It was legendary, and her husband had passed away a couple of years ago. Her name was Rosalie Ponte, and she loves you, and she was spry, and I want to just put a shout out to
And
her.
she's single, Steve.
And, you know, I want to invite Rosalie to come in and have, dinner on me one day and continue the conversation. but she was obviously a very learned woman, a very opinionated woman, and had the utmost respect for you and listens to you religiously.
Well, a woman of infinite taste.
Infinite wisdom, and with her past and her family, and we knew her husband, and where I grew up in Brooklyn, obviously there was some cross connections, but she just absolutely loves you, and sometimes
Wasn't it Rosie?
Rosalie Ponte, P-O-N-T-E.
Rosalie.
So
Okay,
any of you that
Rosalie.
remember Ponte's restaurant in New York, that
Shout
was
out to
world famous in
Rosalie.
the Tribeca district, long before Tribeca became famous. So Rosalie, it was a pleasure meeting with you. Please come back and visit us again, and maybe we can get Steve to come have lunch with us one day.
Yeah.
You come in.
Yeah. You know, I was at a doctor once. It's a true story, and I was getting the the finger where they tell you to cough. You know, they put the finger in the prostate and all that stuff. You know, and the doctor.
Put the finger in where?
You can figure it out. The doctor had the rubber glove on. I'm completely naked from the waist down. He's doing the turn and cough thing. And I made a comment to him. I was like a little embarrassed about this. And he says, "Hey, are you Brian Craig from the Steve Kane Show?" And I was like, "I really appreciate it. I'm laying here naked and your digits are inside of me and you're asking me these questions. I mean, how embarrassing could it be?"
Thank you for sharing that story.
It's the morning, What better story in the morning than you think of that?
Anyway, I was waiting for you to call me during the break. I was gonna tell you to ask Ed the first question, but
I saved it for you.
I
I saved it for you. I didn't want to step on your question.
First question is, give me a quick, not too quick.
That's because it's
but
funny.
a rundown about your impressions. What did you expect going in with Mueller, and what did you think you got?
Well, I really didn't expect much with Mueller. The media painted Mueller as the gold standard of what was going to happen, and a man that was beyond reproach, that couldn't be compromised.
But not beyond senility.
Well, that wasn't talked about.
Yeah, that's true.
why
That was
not?
the surprise.
It wasn't, maybe part of it was a play, part of it was he was just unfamiliar with it, but it was a disappointment to the American people to have a man that was raised to such a large stature come out in front of the American people, have wasted 2 years on a report, wasted 3 months to get up to testify, only to bumble like Mr. Magoo is probably the best analogy I can
Well, that
say.
was the surprise. The surprise was he was senile.
Well, whether he was senile or not senile, for the fact that they put him up there, it was very sad. It was sad for Mueller that he had to endure that. I think Bill Barr gave him an out and saying, "You really don't have to do this."
Yeah, they gave him every opportunity.
But he didn't take it, and I think the Democrats followed through their normal form that it's not about the concern of the individual and the right or wrong. It's about concern about getting out whatever their message is, and they will step on whoever it is. And in this case, they stepped all over Bob Mueller, and it was an embarrassment. The man was totally unprepared. It appears that he almost never even read the report. But what did come out, and I think there were a couple of things that were good that came out of it. It came out that he wasn't the gold standard that they were hoping
He was a
for
front
to
man.
be. He was purely a front man. He was
Steve Kane Show.
He was a figurehead only.
Hey, Barry.
The report was dictated and controlled by his people behind, particularly Weissman. Obviously, all the partisan people that were behind the situation.
It was just what Rush said it was. It was a partisan witch hunt.
And it's really coming out, and there's an interesting byproduct to take out of this is everybody yells and complains and screams that Trump comes out with these off-the-cuff, chaotic remarks, but you know what? He continually is proven to be true on the things that he says.
Every time.
And they just do nothing but validate it, and now they're moving off of Mueller onto something else, and
Well, we all know let's stop at that moment because that's the big transition in today's show. Because we know exactly what we're moving into.
Why don't you tell them exactly what they, I love this with the media, they're all sitting speculating what's gonna happen now, we know what's gonna happen now, because we've been told over and over through the years, we know exactly what the next act of this play is. Do we not?
Well, I think, while they were waiting for the Mueller report to dictate what the media would report, I think it actually turned out to be the other way around, that the media dictated the Mueller report.
Well, let me ask you, but let me get back there, it's a good question, so I'm gonna go back and try to pin you down on it. What
Can you
is,
repeat the
where do,
question?
what
Wait,
is
I'm
it,
not Mueller. Repeat
if
the
this
question.
were if this were a chess game, okay, or a checker game, and, you know, let's say Mueller got jumped on that last move, what is the next move in this drama we've been watching for 2.5 years?
I don't think it's necessarily moves that, I think the more strategic reveal of what is really happening in the world. And it's as you notice, as you listen to people like Devin Nunes come out, or Gowdy, not Kirk Gowdy, by the way, Trey Gowdy, you know? Gowdy or some
I
of the
was
other
talking to you on
ones,
the phone the other day, and we were talking about Gowdy, you said Kurt
did.
Gowdy.
But, you know, there seems
How
to be,
about that?
there seems to be a whole lot more that's known that these people are not releasing. And the things that they're saying, they're alluding to, there's a lot of facts that are coming out that, listen, if you
We
just...
know that everything that is about to happen, I'll give you my perspective. I'm gonna answer my own question. Everything that is about to happen starting now has been released, and the story has been told over and over and over and over for the last months. Everybody knows.
Cat's
There are
out of the bag.
two or three, forget which, major committees, legitimate committees, not like the Mueller thing with the people half seen now that, you know, that don't know which end is up. Investigations that are gonna get into the real scandal. There was a real scandal, there were crimes committed. We know what the scandal was, we know what the crimes were, and we're about to officially be informed by the investigators who are
Barr.
the finishing touches on the final act of this thing, which is nailing the real perpetrators, which are the Democrats.
Well, you've missed the biggest takeaway from the Mueller hearing. And the biggest takeaway from we're going to get to resolving this part, the biggest takeaway from the Mueller hearing is there comes a time in your life when you are no longer in control of your mental state and faculties, and you cannot sign documents, and you cannot make arrangements and things like this. And Attorney Barry Siegel is on the line, Steve. He talks to you about this all the time, about how you need to make plans with your documents before you reach a certain stage of life.
Exactly the point I was setting up here. This
That's
whole
right.
thing is just basically a
Yes.
handoff to Attorney Barry Siegel, who is my attorney, by the way.
Yes.
Who handled all these affairs for me. Attorney Siegel, how are you this morning?
Steve, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing a lot better than Mr. Mueller, that's for sure.
Good morning, Barry.
And good morning, Ed. How are you?
Right. Steve was in the restaurant. Barry was in the restaurant the other evening. We were talking a little bit about
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what is the lesson to be learned from what we've seen here about
senility,
making the arrangements before you get like Mr. Mueller?
Well, it's important to, I mean, the key thing is what you just said, making the arrangements ahead of time before there's a problem. There are so many hidden time bombs in our planning or lack of planning.
good lead-in.
Things that if we don't do them ahead of time, or options that we have available are limited, if any. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you're prepared, that you set up your proper legal documents so that you can potentially have options to take care of yourself or your spouse if either of you happen to become ill. There are a couple of benefits out there that could be very, very helpful for those of you who either need care now or may need it in the future. One of them is for veterans and their spouses or their surviving spouses that can help pay for care, either at home or in assisted living facility. And there is a program available that will actually do the whole application process at zero charge, no out-of-pocket cost. So if there's anybody out there, there are financial limits on that
Yes,
one.
that was a
and they
very good
changed the
lead-in.
laws that made it a bit more difficult to qualify, to do some of the things that we could do for Medicaid planning. However, if you, let's say if you have assets under roughly $126,000, not counting the home, then you and your spouse, or the surviving spouse of a veteran could possibly qualify. And also, of course, there's always Medicaid that can also give up to 40 hours a week of home care, up to $1,300 a month towards assisted living, and even pay the lion's share of nursing home costs, which can be extremely expensive. So it's very important to plan ahead.
Well, the bottom line is, if you don't want to end up like Mr. Mueller, you want to give our friend Barry Siegel a call and tend to these things before you are too senile to understand what you're doing. The number to call for the no-charge consultation, 1-855, that's toll-free, 1-855-FLA, as in Florida, 3782, 1-855-FLA, 3782. Counselor, have a great weekend. We'll speak next week, all right?
All right, thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right.
You know, and
We're
as a
back.
follow-up to what Barry said, it's kind of interesting. He said you need to plan ahead, and like Mueller, I think Mueller actually did plan ahead, because he ate up 2 years of his life getting very well paid in this.
It wasn't
witch hunt.
worth the humiliation he went through. But anyway, I want to get back to that key point,
Go ahead.
because there is something, and it disturbs me as I watch television, even among the media, which has begun to wake. Even the liberal media had to face pretty much the reality, with a couple of exceptions. Like, what's the name of the lesbian host?
Which one?
Hmm.
The gay one?
What?
Not the gay guy, the gay lady?
No, the lady.
Yeah, Rick
Yeah,
Maddow. Rick Maddow.
Rachel.
Rachel Maddow.
Raving Rick Maddow.
Boys don't cry.
Even she was the last one to resist. She was still fighting to pretend the Mueller thing had not happened. It was like a bad dream, but she woke up, now it was over. It's not over. This is just the beginning. They're going to...
Yeah.
We know it. We know that the committees are working on it. We know that they're going to
my device
come
went
up
dead.
with
My iPad
indictments.
went
We
dead.
don't know specifically who. We're hoping for the best, that they'll get all the bad people. But the fact is, what's coming up next is the real destruction of the Democratic Party.
Well, I think you're going to see a definite dichotomy between the way this was handled, with the lack of professionalism, with the partisanship of the entire Mueller team, with the lack of hands-on involvement that he had with knowing the facts and constructing a report that had his name, and the way Bill Barr and Durham will do it. I mean, if you put Durham next to, Barr next to Mueller, I mean, there'd be no contest in looking at the intellect of
Which
each
is
of
only
those men.
going to make the point even more vividly.
Well, the next phase is not. The next phase is Barr's team have been conducting a very serious investigation, and this guy. Yeah, and we're going to wake up one morning, and we're not even going to know what's happened, and someone's going to be either be indicted in a grand jury or be arrested from Barr.
Well, a whole bunch of people are going to get
Comey or Strzok, or who was Comey's buddy that stepped in after him? That McCabe, Comey, or Strzok are going to be one of the first.
Brennan's not exactly out of
Oh,
it.
Brennan's in a ton of crap too.
You notice he's
Yeah.
been a little quiet lately.
Well, a little quiet. The two of them, the Brennan and.
Well, Brennan and Clapper have been throwing Comey under the bus. By the way, do you know what Rachel Maddow does on the weekend? I'm not kidding. I heard her talk about this on the air.
She talks about it on the.
Yeah, what do you think she does on the weekend? And it's not go to a lesbian bar.
Toys, I don't know.
She goes fishing in Connecticut on the weekends. And what this is crazy. And she does this every weekend. In fact, she was fishing when the Mueller report was released. They brought her back from the fishing trip. She does this every weekend. She's trying to be a man so much. She probably wears one of those hats with the flies on it, the fishing flies. It's very bizarre. You wouldn't think of her as a fisherman.
Never.
Very bizarre.
My mom.
She's trying to be like a guy.
So.
But the Barr investigation.
Why is it we're announcing this?
It's a shock.
When you say it, you realize, yeah, gee, that's exactly what's going on, and that's exactly what's going to happen next. And yet, when you watch the news dealing with this, they don't seem as focused on it as we are.
Yeah.
You know what? The news dispersion is changing from the way we grew up, obviously, with the three networks, to the cable TVs, to the CNNs. CNN has lost a tremendous amount of credibility. Fox is there trying to promote a fair and balanced, so to speak, message. But the real message is coming directly to the people through the tweets. And, you know, they're short, sometimes they're abrupt, sometimes they're crude. But the reality of the situation is there's truth to much of what is being said.
And there is
and
truth to everything that what
everything.
Donald
And that's getting
Trump
to the largest
says and
audience
what he
possible. You know,
He always ends up being right. And I will do the famous Steve Kane challenge that I do every time this comes up. I defy anybody in our listening audience, liberal or Trump hater or whatever it is, tell me the last thing Trump did that was a mistake.
He made one mistake. He made one mistake.
What was that?
Jeff Sessions.
Okay, I'll give you that. That was a little.
But he was conned into that. Jeff Sessions set him up for that.
Yeah.
I think without a doubt, I think the entire
In fact, some of his
Republican
opponents.
establishment set him up. And,
But he's corrected that
you know,
mistake.
he was president,
No,
they took him in,
2
but
years.
I think the entire establishment went after to dismantle
It's a
him.
plot. That's what. Who's it that says the rest of the story? That's the rest of the story.
Well,
it was a plot to. That's simple. The whole thing
A
was
coup.
about
A coup.
But you know what the real example of it is? Mueller is the example of the bureaucratic deep state. Okay.
Oh,
and it's an example not only of the nefarious ones that go after specifically to gain power and use the power of the federal government to subvert individual rights, but he just showed the incompetence of what the bureaucratic state really is. And there are more and more. You have no idea how many people are a mirror image of Mueller in position.
Well, you know what's going to happen with Mueller, Steve? I was just thinking of, in November is Roger Stone's trial. And Roger Stone is one of those, his client, his attorney's as weird as he is, okay? I bet you they call Mueller to the stand after that display. I bet you he doesn't even know what Roger Stone's been charged with, even though he signed off on the warrant. Mueller did such incredible damage to them this week. We've never seen anything like that on television.
Well, you know what the real injustice is? If we were looking at just the Mueller context and just his performance for those several hours the other day, one would almost have to feel sorry for the way he was and the way he came off as
Why
pathetic.
feel sorry? He has to take personal responsibility. We spend all our time on the
I
talking about
understand,
personal
but that's
responsibility.
exactly the point,
He
Steve.
agreed to be part of this. He knew what it was. He knew it was.
Did he though, Steve? You saw him. He didn't know where he was.
No, I understand.
He was probably that way when he was a.
I understand.
He was that way when they picked him.
But he could have said no, and he was given every opportunity to say no. But he was gonna. He was gonna. Bring the bacon home for his cronies.
But the reality is the point is that there was definitely a picking of how justice was determined for different groups of people depending on what side of the political spectrum you were on. And it was, for him to have done things, I mean, listen, Paul Manafort, no matter what you may think of him, sitting in solitary confinement for a couple of little lies, or like you said, Jerome Corsi,
all right, you made my case. So why would you feel
Flynn,
sorry?
or Roger Stone.
So why would you feel sorry for Mueller?
I don't feel sorry. I said, if
Steve-
you worry for the fact that this man went after ruining people's lives, financially draining them. And by the way, this is exactly what draining the swamp is exposing the inefficiencies of people that are in power.
Steve, what they did to Mueller is a crime. It's elder abuse. It's like you hear a lot of times senior citizens, they get these con men. Who's
the they?
Hillary Clinton's campaign was running the investigation, right? They picked him because he's senile and doesn't know where he's at.
Sure, there was part of it.
Yeah, I think that's why they chose him. He was just a front man. Hillary campaign ran the whole thing. It's just like, I remember somebody tried to pull this scam on you, calling you up, telling you one of your kids was in jail. You got so many kids, you can't, you know what I mean? That's a common scam. That scam, though, you got so many kids, you can't track them down. They're trying to get bail money from you. That's a common scam played on seniors every day in this state. Senior citizens, I'm telling you, in this audience, they get that call all the time, that their grandson or granddaughter's in jail, they need bail money, we need the credit card number. They did that. That's what they did to Robert Mueller. Yeah. And I wonder with even Dr. Matez said it's some form of senility, dementia, and he's kind of young for that. It looks to me probably one of those alcohol-related dementia situations with him, years of drinking.
Whatever it is, you know, it's difficult to diagnose somebody a medical condition over it, but
not for us.
Dr. Matez, that's his expertise.
He's 74 years old, and I mean, even you look at Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, who were both, you know, his age.
Yeah, but they're not drinkers like this guy probably was.
Exactly, but they give thought to whatever it is they're doing, whether you agree with Sanders or not. At least he has a thought process behind what's going on. And obviously Donald Trump is very methodical and logical in what his purpose is. So.
Now, of course,
we got a break.
Only one fly in the ointment.
Which you got to tell us after the break what the fly in the ointment is.
Well, okay. Maybe,
that'll be the tease.
Maybe not a fly in the ointment. We'll discuss it. Whatever it is, when we return after these words.
Denture wearers, are messy adhesives ruining the taste of your food? Is it painful for you to eat? Does the constant denture movement affect your speech? Are you always worried that your dentures will fall out while you're talking or laughing? Do you have sore spots?
Because of this. He can't talk.
Because he didn't know.
He doesn't know who the hell he is.
He was in the dark. Meanwhile, they were saying, oh no, you're not here because he's got such a high reputation and his integrity is beyond reproach, and there's no leaks. And they spun it that way, but he got exposed for really.
Liberals don't usually get nailed as got this for just 30.
They get nailed like this continually. It's just bringing it out.
Exactly.
Well, it doesn't get what I'm saying is that doesn't get
That's why we're here.
That's exactly why we're here. We're the only ones doing it. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is pointing to the fact that was the setup. Now that was the overture. Now comes the opera.
The common man across America sees it. I do believe that.
The common man in America is a lot smarter than everybody on television.
It shows you how scuzzy Jeff Sessions is, because he knew how he was part of hiring this guy with Alzheimer's.
That's why I always said he may be a plant.
And I want to tell you about Dr. Mitch Matez.
By the way, have you noticed Nikki Haley? She's got this stand up for America. She's not even again. I'm telling you.
I don't trust her. She was like big against the Confederate flag and everything, and took the Confederate flag down.
That's just going to step aside.
It'd be a hell of a move.
His usefulness is done.
It goes down every year after that. Dr. Matez told me.
I don't think that's a far-fetched position.
I don't know. They haven't switched VPs in how long? Who's the last person to do that?
Yeah. And when has Trump ever done whatever?
That's true.
Excellent response. That's exactly the point.
Picking everybody off guard.
I was watching this morning, they had the coal miners on talking about, and playing Hillary's whole things about how we're going to close viral.
Blur, yeah.
These people are just...
They're totally effed. They're totally effed.
You don't have to live with the
I love that people talking about the debt today. Can you believe they're raising the debt ceiling one way? I said, can you believe if the socialists get in, there won't be a debt ceiling?
There won't be a ceiling.
All right, coming back.
He's located in Boca, and his website is Hormone Therapy Boca Raton.
The fly in the ointment.
Or give him a call, 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And tell him Brian Craig sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with Attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law
Steve Kane Show.
9 offices in South Florida, including Boca Raton,
Hey.
Plantation.
All right, we got some calls, too.
Call 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, the proverbial fly in the ointment, with all this celebrating we're doing about the oncoming drama about to unfold where Hillary and her staff of merry criminals gets nailed and justice is served, it still has to happen. We know it's in the works. We know we assume that they're gonna, because we know everything has been leaked. I mean, everything she did, and then the thing with what's the name of the company that, getting like Mueller?
Foundation?
Uranium One?
No, the one that
GPS?
yes.
Fusion GPS.
Fusion GPS. All the scales we know
Did have a
about all-
Mueller moment.
But we have to, yes, it was.
Yeah.
But we're assuming it's all gonna come out, and we won't really know that until it's all out.
Well, I think one thing that was exposed with the Mueller hearing is obviously he's a puppet being pulled behind the strings, but he was portrayed, as I said, as the gold standard, as somebody that was beyond reproach with the integrity, and I think that's exactly why that you never heard from him throughout the entire investigation, because he was clueless.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he had a high integrity.
But I have another question for you. And I'm trying to give you the questions that I've come up with that I haven't heard everybody else ask. I find it very hard after sitting back and observing this whole thing in retrospect. How can we trust anybody in the FBI anymore? I mean, I know we've been sort of brainwashed that it's just the upper echelon, the 5 people that were all the leaks have come about, Comey and all that merry band of thieves. But how can we? And they tell us, but the average guy, I know all these. Who's Bongino says this all the time. I worked with these guys, and they were all fun. I think the whole thing has to be rotten.
Well,
the whole
I'll
organization.
tell you what happened. I had an interesting encounter last week when I was on vacation. I was able to sit with a retired FBI agent, probably for about 20 minutes, discussing the situation. And of course, me being inquisitive, I'm looking to delve into what his thoughts are. And he made no bones about saying that the moment that Mueller came in and took over the FBI, they took it out of the hands of
law enforcement,
the
and put it
function
into
of law,
politics.
and put it into the judicial, and it became run under the judicial
And
review.
they weaponized it in a word.
That's exactly what happened to it, and it became, and because it was weaponized.
And those are the
it
people
was
that are there now, but that's the thing I'm trying to say. Those are the people who are there now. I see these old timers get up there and they talk about what it was like in the 25 years. I'm sure back in those days it was okay.
Well,
But
I'm not
these
sure it
are
was
different
okay. I
people.
think a lot of it happened. I don't think it was out in the forefront as much as it is today. I think news media comes out.
I totally disagree with you. I call Comey Jagger Comey because Comey was doing what Hoover did, okay? And I don't think it ever stopped. I think there were some periods in time, and this guy you're talking to, this retired guy, his heyday was probably the war on drugs era, and there was some different things. Hell no.
Not until people are held accountable. And I think that's what
Someone's got to go to jail.
That's what it's
Yeah.
for.
Someone. Yeah. Strzok and I'll tell you what, Lisa Page, who is not Strzok's girlfriend in a romantic sense. It's like my wife has girlfriends. You know what I mean? That's the kind of girlfriend she is. You saw him in the hearing. He looked like But Lisa Page is cooperating with him, and I'll tell you, she had a closed door hearing. Every Republican said she was very forthcoming and cooperative, and then we never heard from her again.
That are responding behind closed
Yeah,
doors
and she's
we
it.
don't
Yeah.
know about, including Baker, by the way, who was the attorney
Steve
for the
Kane
FBI.
show.
So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot
Oh.
of dots that are being connected.
I mean, when you stop and think, there's one thing happened during the Mueller hearings that, if I had to pick one moment that blew my mind more than anything else, when I'm having another one of those moments.
Oh.
I'm gonna tell you, Mueller's destroyed.
Yeah.
When they said that the guy they brought up to coach Mueller, the attorney sitting next to him to advise him, was the guy who had helped Hillary destroy the friggin' emails.
Yeah.
And break up
I
the,
mean,
the phones and
Yes.
everything.
And
The hammers to the phones.
And he wasn't even aware
Bleach
that,
bit.
They bleached.
They bleached it, everything.
Yeah, and took the hammers to the phones.
Well, that just goes to show you.
Oh my God, and everybody knows about it. Nobody's saying anything about it. That was a crime right there.
It's like having a mob attorney up there with him is what
I
it
just want
was.
to clarify something you said, Brian, and I didn't think you meant to express it in a way that it was okay because it was an extension of Hoover. Hoover was bad, no question about it. Comey, I think, is a continuation of being bad, of what's wrong.
The FBI's always been this way.
Comey's more I mean,
Hoover was there for president after president, Republican and Democrat. Comey went to Trump when he was president-elect with the dossier, and he at Trump Tower, and he said he gave him the BS dossier. He says this can either go away or we can launch an investigation into it, which was wink, wink. You play ball and there's no investigation. Trump said, get the F out of here, you're fired, and it led to this. But, the FBI, I think they've always run this way, except for some periods in time, depending, like if Reagan was president, maybe they didn't have a different director. But this is the culture of the FBI. At the political area, the guy you're talking to wasn't a D.C. guy, right? Was he a Florida agent working on the war on drugs in the 80s, maybe? Different thing.
He had retired about 7 or 8 years ago, but he was just saying he noticed a distinct difference in a top-down approach in the department when Mueller came in, that everything had to be run through the judicial.
You can't tell me that everybody in the FBI, all the agents in the FBI, didn't know as much as we know now.
Well, just the Washington branch,
They
yeah.
worked there. They were the, okay.
That's it's separated from the local.
Maybe a point.
I mean, I've known FBI agents. You meet them sometimes, and they're great guys, but not these Washington people. These Washington people, that's a whole nother. Everybody in that building, even the janitor, should be fired in Washington.
Yeah, Washington knows what Washington is within the confines of their.
What I would do is I would fire everyone in that building, and I would staff it with people stationed in Nome, Alaska, far away places that aren't connected.
These people that are there in the Washington office and put them in Nome, Alaska.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah,
We need to take out this
Steve Kane show.
forward to where
Yeah.
the rational approach is going to take to uncover the actual facts of what's coming along. And I think for anybody not to absorb the facts and look at what will be exposed coming along is derelict in intellectual responsibility.
We got a full board. You want to take a call or two?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Let's take a decent person first. Mel and Boca.
That means the next one up is Liberal Al.
Yeah, Al DeJohn.
And Wayne.
Yeah, but this is Mel and Boca.
Good morning, Al. Good morning.
We were at Barry Siegel's seminar, and it was fabulous, by the way. And I know you were there, and I couldn't tear myself away taking notes to say hello. But the other nice thing, so I apologize for that. The other nice thing is that I won the Tavolino drawing. So
all right.
That was a double win for me. As far as the politics go, Nancy Pelosi tipped her hand the other day. They're just going to get on Trump for the racial white supremacy business, and that's what's going to be their song for the next
It's
year.
been their song for the last 2 decades.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to try and drag up any crap.
Well, the problem is their leading candidate was in league and brought up by segregationists. So it's hard to call President Trump credibly a white supremacist when you got a guy who was mentored by segregationists. Joe Biden is your front runner.
By the way, I heard what the feature you did on bringing back the federal death penalty.
Yeah.
You should have seen the pictures of the 5 people they chose.
Oh, I didn't see the pictures.
The first guy's got a swastika the size of Cleveland on his neck.
Did he have a MAGA hat on?
No.
No MAGA hat?
They picked basically, I think there's one guy that looked...
Are they all white?
There's one guy that's
So,
more white than black, but everybody else is white.
Yeah.
It's basically white.
It's racially biased, the death penalty.
And yeah, I mean...
He looked like Ed Norton in American History X.
And yes, that's exactly right. I mean, there were a bunch of the vicious, the worst of the worst.
You
Yeah.
know, your caller just brought up something about racism, and I don't know if anybody watched Mark Levin last week, and he had Dr. Kessler on from Claremont University. But he brought up a tremendous point, the difference of racism and what slavery was all about. Because right now they're trying to conflate the two of them, that racism is the same as what slavery was.
Yeah.
Slavery was human bondage that was enforced by the use
Steve
of
Kane
force
Show.
on individuals or people. The
Thanks,
idea of
you got to call
racism
back,
is a
okay? I got to
subjective
call back after the
attitude
break.
That's about controlling the mind. And that's what the left is out doing right now, is controlling the mind, is using these...
Not very well.
No, they're trying
They're
to.
using these emotional, subjective ways because they've taken reason out of everything, and everybody run... Listen to this woman that was on, the congresswoman that was on the line at one of the stores, and she was a black lady.
Well, she's been
Guy
totally
behind her,
exposed.
He was an anti-Trump...
Well, now the witnesses have given statements to the police. The black lady is the one that said, "Go back to where you came from."
Big surprise.
Yeah.
Big surprise. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with the Gold Report after this.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire.
4 hours, yeah, right.
They have all the major name brand tires like Goodyear. And
No, you want to end on a high. You don't want to have no.
that absolutely can't be.
They're saying we should go to 4 hours. No. You want to add 3 hours. You end on a high.
$175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75.
Plus 4 hours is killer.
Here's for my daughter Emily's car, $135.
We used to do 4 hours a long time ago.
Down. Friendly Tire, only $65. That's more than a 50% savings. Those prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of used tires too at $30 for most sizes. Call my good buddy Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-94.
Was that a talkie?
957-94.
We certainly are contemptuous.
It's a 2019 Showroom Showdown at Toyota of Hollywood. We'll do whatever it takes to outsell all
Get him.
other manufacturers.
Okay, Youngerman.
Toyota will make your payments till 2025. Slow down and 0% APR financing, or buy a Toyota at up to 50%.
Okay, Youngerman's on the line.
MSRP when you and used for the 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $18,775.
Omar, that was Omar.
Corolla LE, not $22,000, $13,775. Over 1,500 Toyotas indoors and on sale. During our showroom showdown at Toyota of Hollywood.
Did you hear that thing where I caught Cortez losing her Spanish accent?
Yes.
I couldn't believe.
For 2014 to 2018 for SET on 401 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Can you hear the microwave going there?
Okay, there's Youngerman. We're back.
All right,
We're
we are
back.
The moment you have all waited for, or certainly the moment I wait for each day, the Gold Report, brought to you by probably one of the world's leading experts when it comes to the precious metals. Of course, we're talking about William Youngerman of William Youngerman Inc. William, been in this a long time, been advising clients on trends and movements in the precious metals markets now for 52 years, but who's counting? So let's see how things are looking today. William, things looking up?
Yeah, today, Steve, gold and the precious metals continue to consolidate its gains up above these, gold up above the $1,400 number and silver up above the $16 number. And that being said, we're seeing good buying on any dips that take place. We see gold yesterday getting up to about $1,430, then getting sold down to the 14 level where it has been bought and held that level again. Gold closing yesterday at $14.14 with silver at $16.38 with a $16.25 level there. Platinum 866 on the close yesterday with palladium closing out the day at $1,511. This morning we had gold up to over $1,420, and then the GDP numbers came out rather strong. Gold pushed back down and then continued to regain its
Its market now up $3, gold at $1,417 the ounce. Again, as I said, any kind of dips down to that 14 level seem to get bought up. Silver up 2 cents right now at $16.40 the ounce. Platinum down $2 at $8.64, and palladium up $3 at $1,514. So the markets are kind of quiet, building a strong base, I believe, around these numbers that we're talking about. And any dip should be certainly positive in what I think is still a bull market for the precious metals and will remain so.
And of course, we should mention to people that not only are you involved in selling all the precious metals, but you also are in the market to buy as well. Tell them a little bit about that end of the business.
Indeed, our business is a full service rare coin precious metals business, and we buy anything practically that contains the precious metals, old jewelry, new jewelry, any kind of watches that are in top grade watches, as well as the any form of precious metals. A lot of people have old sterling silver sets sitting around they're not using. They bring them in and exchange them for cash or a form of silver that's easy to trade and house. And precious metals, just about every kind. We have all the precious metals in stock for immediate delivery. Also, if you're looking to buy anything in the precious metals.
All right, there you have it. Drop by today. William Youngerman, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. Now that you will find when you get there is the Bank America building. You'll find William on the first floor, directly across from the bank. You can reach him by phone at 1-800-327-5010 or go to the website at williamyoungerman.com. William, have a great weekend. We'll talk on Monday, all right?
Okay, you too.
Okay, take care, and we are back. What's doing this weekend at
obviously,
Tabladinos?
we had, first of all, the other day we had a great show with Jim Florentine. We had a comedy show. We were packed to the gills. And it was absolutely a sold-out performance. Our next great comedy show will be coming up September 4th with the fabulous Steve Marshall, who headlines regularly at Dangerfields in New York. So comedy is great. Ladies' Night is on Thursday. Tonight we have the Groove Band coming in, a great fun band. And tomorrow night we have the infamous Rick Langness with his Crush Band, a fun dance band. Sunday we have jazz coming in. And one thing I would like to mention is this summer we've made a change. We began opening up on Mondays for lunch and dinner. We normally had been closed. And we're moving forward over the next week or so to open for lunch on the weekends, lunch and brunch.
Very neat.
So there are no great brunch places to have in Coral Springs or Divine. So.
You know what you want to do? You're not going to, this is probably not a good suggestion.
Steve Kane Show.
I love buffets. You should do a Sunday brunch. Buffet.
Well, we will do a Sunday brunch, but right now we will do it for specific specialty items. The brunch may come along when we do like mass amount of people for like a Mother's Day and do a combination.
Steve and I were at a swingers club one night, and it was about.
I'm not even touching that long.
It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And, the people have been doing what they do at swingers clubs all night, and they bring out a buffet. Steve ran over to that buffet. I said, Steve, I am not going to eat from a buffet. Yeah, but it was a swingers club. There was a swingers club. And Steve's eating at a buffet at a swingers club. They're having sex with, they're swapping people. I wouldn't use the toilets there either. They're swapping people as sex partners, and they're sticking their hands in the buffet.
It worked up an appetite to get to that point.
Well, Steve wasn't swinging. We were just observing.
They had a great Frankie. Remember Frankie?
Frankie P.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve loved it. Right at that point, I said, Steve, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
But he didn't mind.
No.
You want to take some calls?
You got time for a call?
We got time. We got 6 minutes. Okay, we got, let's go with the sleaze first. Al the John.
Go ahead, Al. Dazzle him with your brilliance.
So many Republicans defected from the Republican Party.
Hold on. Republicans are
defecting
from the Republican Party? Who's that?
And Trump will be defecting in 2021.
Who has defected? Other than one yo-yo in California.
I know this caller is defective, but
Mentally.
yeah.
Joe Scarborough.
Joe Scarborough? You think he's a Republican? What are you drinking already at this hour of the morning?
Joe Scarborough's not in government. He's over at MSNBC.
Joe Scarborough.
You can have Scarborough. By the way, any updates on the dead girl that was found in his campaign office in Florida? I don't know. Yeah.
How about Bill Kristol?
Bill Kristol's business went out of business because he was anti-Trump. The Weekly Standard's history.
Exactly.
It ran him out of business.
These are never Trump people.
So you got a guy whose business went out of business because of Trump. Another guy who's sleeping with the Democrat, you know, Jimmy Carter's national security advisor's daughter, and a dead girl was found in his office. You got any Republicans of, you know, respectability that have left?
Greg Smith.
Who? Now you're making up names. I don't even know who that is.
By the way, Bill Kristol was never really a Republican.
John McCain was a Republican. Yeah.
Oh, his campaign manager. Hello.
Who?
Greg Smith was his campaign manager. He defected from the Republican Party.
Oh my God.
What, Greg Smith? Want to take some other callers?
Yeah.
Long before.
All right. All right. Richie.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, hi. Al never brings up what somebody's going to do policy. Only he's another one. Just let's attack personal attacks. Hi, Ed. By the
Hey,
way,
Rich, how you doing, buddy?
Now, this is funny. You brought it up, Steve. One of my neighbors and friends gave the last dose of injection to Timothy McVeigh. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Couldn't
a
have
friend
it
of
on
mine.
a
He lives
nicer
up here where we live. He was federal corrections, and he was the executioner.
Any can you, let me ask you a question. Any little anecdotes connected with Mr. McVeigh's passing that you want to share from the executioner?
None at all. Listen.
You know, that's very weird. So this guy, I mean, so you've got this neighbor who just runs around the street telling everyone that he killed Tim McVeigh? A little bizarre.
His wife works for the government. She's still active, and she showed me her credit. She has top secret clearance. He worked. That's how they met. They met, and he was the executioner. And then I asked him, and he told me.
Oh, jeez.
Famous people. The last guy, he said, the last guy that Timothy McVeigh saw while he was alive was me.
Ah. Okay.
One of the things I wanted to...
We got Shlomo. If we don't take Shlomo, he'll never forgive me, Steve.
Well, go for it.
Okay. All right, we'll take Shlomo.
Good morning, Steve and Ed and Brian. Just a short comment. We just saw the FBI so inept, so corrupt, and such a loser, this Mueller. And as long as this name of Hoover going to be there, we're always going to have this corrupted
Hey, Shlomo, what do you think about two members of the squad have compared Israel to Nazi Germany and said we should have a boycott against them? Any thoughts?
I love that.
Islam and Nazism is the same. It's very funny that the Muslims and the Nazis always blame the Jews. And that's what they do. That's very normal.
Philosophically, they are identical.
All right. Hello.
We're out. Out of time.
We're out of time. Sorry, Shlomo, gotta go. But we will be back Monday morning, 6 a.m. Until then, by the way, thanks.
Thank you for coming.
Tavolinos this weekend.
Tavolinos this week, and any night come in for some talk, and don't forget, who is John Gold?
And until Monday, God bless America.
All right, guys, see you later. Take care.